I was gonna say that's a little adventurous going down the outside. Yeah, he's gotta get that position. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move
right up.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were going out into the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're going to get a replay of it. Yeah, darted right to the inside as we get a replay here. Coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.
Hello and welcome to the 2023 Pro Sim Racing Sprint Championship Series by Coliseum and BRS. Well, it's final day from Daytona and a slight little bit of a delay to proceedings due to iRacing servers being down. I'm Tim Cox with Alex Simpson joining me here on the Sapers from the Apex Racing TV Esports studio. Wow, we've had 3 qualifying rounds, 3 different tracks, and it all comes down to tonight, $5,000 on the line for the winner, Alex. I mean, surely the drivers have got to be nervous, haven't they?
Hello everybody, yeah, good to be back. Obviously we've had the Christmas break and things like that in there, so yeah, hope everyone had a nice one. But yeah, obviously I think there'll be a little bit of nervousness from the guys. I mean, probably more from Jordan, if I'm honest, being the only Altus driver out there up against a whole bunch of BS competition drivers. I think they'll be quietly a bit more confident, you know, that things can kind of go their way tonight. But yeah, I mean, I think they're all nervous, but I think they're already all feeling like winners. They've got this nice trip to Florida, Daytona. They're about to watch the Rolex 24. You know, they're in a nice little like private booth up there at the moment, getting ready and doing some iRacing, and they're going to walk out with you know, with some spending money for their time there. I mean, like I say, some are gonna have a little bit more, maybe a better night than others. But still, yeah, I think they're all pretty happy and good to be here. Like, it's been an amazing championship to get to this point as well. Really short little quick fire series. We've had 3 great qualifiers, some really good racing. All the finals have been, you know, a little bit different. Some drivers we thought would make it didn't. Consistency really paid out for the guys that are here now, and you know, some really consistent all the way to the final qualifying round, and then just had a doozy, and it dropped them out. You know, you needed to perform every single race to kind of make it in there. So yeah, it's been a good championship, and I think this final is going to be great.
It most certainly is. So for this evening, we have got 3 races, 15 minutes each around the Daytona Road Circuit. And of course, how the drivers came to be here? Well, across the last 3 qualifying rounds, where the drivers with the most points accumulated across those rounds have made their way to the grand final at the Daytona Rolex 24 Hours. And we have seen, as Alex mentioned a little bit earlier, 3 BS competition cars plus an Altus heading to the final. Jordan Caruso, he's going to be representing Altus. Well, we've got Ruben Bonga, Rainer Talvar and Ryan Bauernfeld from BS Plus Competition. Now, Alex, with Daytona, it is a bit, well, I say a bit, we've seen from the Daytona 24 Hours on iRacing happened recently. It's very fresh in the memory still. It's all about the draft around here. And do you think it's going to come, you know, maybe a bit quiet and a bit conservative? A little bit like cycling, where not a lot happens and everyone just groups and it's all about working together, and then all of a sudden, right for the last lap, it's like someone fires a starting gun and it's going to be all that strip scene to the end? Or do you think it's going to play out a little bit different, potentially?
I mean, certainly I think the final lap is going to be checkers or wreckers, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that's what we're going to see. There will be, I mean, we've got 3 teammates, so let's not shy away from that fact that they're not going to want to knock each other off, so I think they'll be a bit calm and a bit steady. Certainly with the draft, yeah, you've got opportunities to make move into turn 1 and into bus stop if you really want to as well. So I think we'll see some moves. Like, I think Jordan's going to need to try and position himself. He doesn't want to be at that back of the pack. I think if you're 4th coming onto that straight, you're going to have a tough job to win going over the start line and finish line. But I think if you're third, you've still got a chance, you know. So I think it's not all about it's who gets the right run out of that final chicane and can get there. So yeah, I think they'll be a bit sensible. But who knows?
Well, yeah, we've said this before. You know, Laguna Seca, prime example.
Yeah.
You can't really ever take much around here.
Not so much.
Yeah, the drivers didn't get the memo on that one at all in the slightest. It was just crazy action for each of the races. But well, you say that obviously with Jordan for Altus being at the back, potentially being at the back, but then are they going to? I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how.
It's either that, or he could be at the front.
Well,
he could just sit behind him.
Is it going to be a little bit like we see? Well, it's very typically during Formula One in real life, where qualifying, someone like Monza, nobody wants to be at the front of the train, and everyone's queuing up, waiting for someone to go first. I truly don't know how this one's going to plan out at all, and I think we're just going to have to wait and find out ultimately. But I suppose with that in mind as well, we've got qualifying. That's not too far away. Does qualifying really matter?
I don't think so, not at this circuit, that's for sure. I think it's absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's going to be close anyway, but I think, yeah, anyone's got an opportunity. These guys are all really, really quick. I mean, I think one interesting thing we didn't think about at the start of the season, when all this was going off, is that this was straight after the Daytona 24 iRacing, you know? And how would that affect? Now, of course, they're driving different cars that they actually did in the Daytona 24 as well. So, you know, BS were in their traditional BMW, and I believe the Altus guys prepped for the Porsche. And here they are in the Audi and the Lamborghini. So, I mean, that might have a bit of a difference on it, just because they've done so many laps around here, and they're perhaps used to how a particular car handles as opposed to what they've got now. So. Might make a difference, might not.
Well, surely, I mean, these guys are pros. They can handle anything that's thrown at them. I know, obviously, practice will come a part of it, but then surely, I mean, give them anything, they can be quick on the day.
I think so. And again, I think Daytona is such a circuit. Everybody knows it really, really well. And even if you are lacking a tenth or two, you can still hold on pretty easy, especially with these 15-minute races. I don't think we're going to see any gap in unless there's people coming together or something like that, which is, again, always possible.
And a quick mention to our two sponsors for this evening, Coliseum and VRS. Let's just quickly kick things off with Coliseum. Who are Coliseum? What are they? Well, they're a brand new social media platform, and the way that they're tying the whole community between racers, teams, fans, sim racers, and sponsors, partners, brands, all under one roof on one platform, and sort of cherry picking the best parts of every social media platform and putting it into one house and one roof.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they come up with. Obviously, purely from a sort of team manager point of view, you know, having all the analytical data there, engaging, being able to obviously have like they've actually got the ability to obviously sell through the platform as well, do sort of referrals and all sorts of things. So yeah, so some great features. Should build an interesting community sort of space on there as well.
Definitely.
Direct sort of one-to-one talks and discussions that they can have as well. So yeah, like you say, I think they've cherry-picked the best of all the social platforms, pulled them all together in one interesting little area, and it should be a dedicated sort of motorsports sort of app. Just an interesting random story as well about Coliseum. Obviously, we were at the Autosport International show just a few weeks back. Yeah, we had a simulator down there, and yeah, I was just having a little wander around just to kind of see what was going on, and yeah, I spotted a Coliseum logo on a couple of nice, really like drift cars. I was like, oh, you know, it's good to see them kind of getting into the space a little bit more as well. Obviously not just with kind of what we're doing with the sim racing, but into the real motorsports as well. Yeah. So partnering with other people as well. So yeah, I think it was one of them was a Nissan GTR, and I think one was a Lamborghini.
Okay.
I think there was there. I'm not sure that's normally a drift car, but Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I was going to say,
but they look mental anyway. So nice black, matte black, carbon
standard drift car mentalness.
Yeah, so
could have been a JDM.
But yeah, let's say it caught my eye. I was like, I recognise that.
And of course, VRS, their equipment. We've got some right in front of us here. Pedals, absolutely top notch, and I mean, I absolutely love those. I've had a fair go on them a fair few times here at the Sim Centre that's just downstairs below us, and compared to other brands, they're just so smooth.
Yeah, I mean, I have, obviously I've got a bunch of pro drivers downstairs, and they genuinely have an opportunity to drive sort of any equipment that they want to do, and you know, they were more than happy to have the VRS sort of pedals bolted to their rigs as well. So I think yeah, anyone who's drove them has said, you know, they're great pedals, and there's sort of nothing between them and sort of other top brands that are on the kind of the market. So yeah,
of course,
if you want to try them out, obviously I'll shameless plug and things like that, and please head to Corby, and we've got a whole bunch of customer simulators downstairs that you're more than welcome to jump on with some friends and have a play. And
they've got the VRS direct drive on them as well, haven't they?
So yeah, the rigs have everything. So we've got the direct drive systems as well, and we have the new prototype rims as well. So you can come and try the rims, which I'm hearing through the grapevine that is going to be released very, very soon as well. So yeah, get an early opportunity to come and give that a try.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah, exactly. Get a feel as well. So. And again, just more for a shameless plug, but all will be on sale on the Apex Racing simulator website as well.
There we go. And also the equipment the driver's going to be using tonight here at Daytona. But we're going to head to a quick break now. Qualifying not far away from being finished. We're going to catch up with that, and they'll be into the first of the 3 races this evening. We'll see you shortly.
Are you struggling to keep up with the top drivers? Are you ready to get faster and more consistent? If so, it doesn't have to take as long as you might think. With the VRS competitive subscription, you'll have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything you need to analyze your driving and see exactly where you're losing time. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off your lap times. When it comes to your equipment holding you back, the powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the best drivers in the world, including Jordan Caruso, Tim Ryan, Jordi Lopez, and Oscar Piastri. It's no secret that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also the best value for money. So if you're looking to upgrade your wheelbase to direct drive and want highly adjustable, ultra-realistic pedals, VRS is your answer. You can get better, faster, and more consistent in less time and for less money. You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. Just go to the URL or the button below and learn why the best use VRS.
For the first time this evening, that's the calmness down into turn one, but this side-by-side in the midfield, Caruso and Barneveld, and Telvar's going for it here, and he's already 6 tenths clear of the pair behind him. And Caruso drops the place, Barneveld now ahead of him, and Ruben Bonga just tucking in behind them. But even at 6 tenths, yes, it's a nice start, but you could easily eradicate that one, Alex.
Oh, I'll be gone by the time they reach the bus stop. I think Jordan's sensible there, right? He had an opportunity to stick it up the inside. Oh, but actually decided, you know what? I'll stay behind here so that we don't lose touch with the lead. And I mean, it could end up happening right here as well. Jordan being hung out to dry around the outside, he's going to have to tuck in so he doesn't. Get swamped by the teammates.
I mean, is this part of the tactics here?
I mean,
just make sure they all battle behind them, and then Telvar, you can see he's nearly out of slipstream range.
I mean, I've got to say it. I think it's what you know, the ART lads would do if they were here, is that they would battle and back it up to try and guarantee that one of their guys is kind of out front and winning. You know, it's not a team event, but you know, that's the beauty of having three teammates.
Or not pushing your way to success like you've done recently, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see if any of them attempt a little bit of bump drafting. Well, I guess we'll find out right now. Looks like, oh no, I thought for a minute. I mean, it could be we see the BS car move up and they do it.
Yeah, just block them in. But as you can see, a second coming out onto the oval for the first time. That gap is now down to 7 tenths down into turn one, and that is tight between Caruso and Bonga playing with fire here.
Jordan's not going to know such, you know, netcode latency luxury. Normally from Australia like that, it'd have sent them into Timbuktu.
Oh, definitely. None of those issues whatsoever. And do you think that maybe that's going to affect the way we're so used to driving around that ping, and like you say, that sort of almost sort of like added cushion around him, to now not have that, so he can get much closer to the cars. Do you think he's gonna? Will it be a bit of muscle memory will just kick in where he'll be so used to having to keep that bit further away, or do you think he'll be going for it and getting a lot close and personal?
I don't think it's going to affect anything. He probably hasn't had enough time to sort of adapt like that. It'll just be it'll just be the same. And yeah, I see. Just the nature of these races, little sprint things. You've got to get your elbows out a little bit.
Yes.
It's certainly towards the end. So, but much to what we were expecting from the start is that you know, they would sort of settle in and not go too crazy.
Well, that gap that was a second, and here comes the push between Talvar and Barneveld. Can they try and eke out this gap a bit more? Well,
I don't know how well the Lamborghini bump drafts. I can say that for a fact. Obviously, we've got a good idea how the Audi works together, but the Lambo, not so much. You know, I think I don't think the Porsche was very good at bump drafting. No. I heard it kind of scooped the cars up a little bit. So maybe the Lambo's got a similar effect. So we'll have to we'll see that. Last thing they'll want to do is wipe each other out.
Oh, that complete and utter red flag, isn't it? To take out your teammate. They will remain tight. The second covering all four cars. So each one third race of distance just coming up. Sounds dramatic. It's only 5 minutes out of 15. It's all calm. It's settled down after the bit of the melee early on in the opening couple of laps. But right now, Talvar seeming to be the strongest of the four drivers, eking out that gap. There's consistency between absolutely every one of them. These gaps will close up once again. The accordion effect coming into play.
So you see Ryan on screen as well, hooked up behind his teammate. So I wonder, you got all the people in the background as well there as well, just obviously doing their thing, having a little natter. I wonder if they're picking that up, you know, the movement in the background. I wonder if that's affecting them or anything like that.
I'd be interested to see. I mean, right, Barneveld right now, looking like the epitome of concentration.
Oh, that Altus car, look at it in the mirror. You can just see.
Wow, filling the mirrors right now. Nothing less than Audi R8 filling that rear view camera. Down to turn one, they're tight as they were last time around. If anything, they're getting slightly closer, but look in the background there, Bonga. Just trying to turn up the pressure on Caruso.
So I think from a team point they'll want Bonga ahead, right? They've got much more chance of getting, I think, a 1-2-3 if they can get Caruso to the back. So I think first we'll probably hold on from fourth on that final lap track.
Do they? I mean, one of the things I was just playing out in my mind was, obviously, if Bonga can get the run, he could almost pull off a bit of a multi-class endurance style boxing in on Caruso, where it leaves him nowhere to go, but he is just slightly in front of him, and that's it. He's stuck with fourth.
The biggest problem I have is if Ryan and Barneveld here get the bump drafting working, it's going to be difficult for Jordan to actually get past. He might only be able to get one, so the person at the front might end up being the token winner, where we were saying, oh, maybe it'll be 3-4 wide at the end. If they go, no, we're going to prioritise the person in the front to try and make sure they are there first. So it'll be interesting to see if Jordan here has a little dummy, little run to say, you know, can I get it done around the outside, or, you know, by the time we reach the start-finish line?
Was Caruso disconnected? He's just disappeared.
Does look like he's disappeared.
He's...
Oh, well, that would be an absolute disaster for Jordan.
And even, just look at Ryan Barneveld there, he's looking around.
I was about to say, he just looked there, like he looked to the left to see what happened to Jordan. Obviously, they're all at the same venue. You would have thought that the connection would have pulled them out. Maybe it was a crash or something like that. They're slowing down.
Yeah. Right, they're going to look at this being looked at right now between the stewards. I'm just got word in our ear. Obviously, in fair sportsmanship. Obviously, BS slowing down right now, and that's good to see. You know, despite there being prize funds on the line here, they're slowing down and just trying to establish and looking around where you see Barnaval there, looking over his left side, trying to establish what has quite just happened there.
So can we get him connected quick enough so it's still in the same server and get him out and do a wave around or something?
I was going to say, it looks like that's what they're trying to do right now, and hopefully we can achieve that one.
I'm already envisioning like a Days of Thunder, Cold Trickle. That's it, you're going to catch him at max speed on the oval. Come on, let's have it, George, straight to the front. Let's go.
Oh, I think that's only applicable to a part of our audience, where most of them are, you know, snappers much younger than you and I, Alex.
Days of Thunder was that? It's a classic film. Everyone must know Days of Thunder. Come on.
Oh, you're just like the perennial old man shaking his fist at Klaus. Youth of today. Dear.
I mean, the thing was, no one can see, but I was being verbal with my hand. So.
Oh dear, that's well, after this slight period here where we just try and establish how we're going to play this one. Will we need to reset, go again? Now I'm hearing from one of our stewards that apparently they're just waiting on Caruso. Yeah, I can see he's reconnected to the server, and they're going to get him out on track and get everyone back into the same order so we can continue on. Now, something's just crossed my mind. Tyre temperatures. Not a massive one anyway around Daytona, especially as we're sort of into the late afternoon here. Obviously, we'll have dusk during the next race, and then in the darkness and for the final one. It's going to mix things up, or is it too short a race really to worry about?
I mean, temperatures is a key thing with iRacing and their tyres, so especially how they cure. So it would be interesting to know how this is going to affect the BS cars, because I would think Jordan will essentially get fresh set of tyres, he'll just go screaming out there, and there'll be either a lap or two. Looks like they're all coming in to the pits as well. I see them all in now, so maybe they all do the same thing. Not 100% sure kind of what's going on there at the moment.
No, we're a bit of a leap into the unknown for everyone right now, so we're trying to get things sorted here from Daytona. And, well, Caruso definitely be trying to take in all of his real-world experience. And there you go. Answer the question, Alex. I'm just watching 3 Lamborghinis pop up onto their jacks. They're taking on new tyres, so at least that eliminates that part of the conundrum. Now, Caruso is in the server, but there is no Altus in there, so I'm
still loading in at this point.
Well,
it takes a little while. I mean, it was pretty painful waiting for Daytona 24 to load. Come on.
The thing is as well, when you're sat there waiting for it, it always feels like it takes an absolute eternity. Realistically, thanks to modern day internet, it's all done and dusted. It's not like the good old days of dial-up. We had to wait ages for a picture to slowly load line by line.
One thing I'm not a little bit, I'm not sure about, is it a timed race? I think it was, right? So the clock is still ticking.
It is still ticking. And we are on 11.5 minutes, so this, well, we should still be good.
We don't need to get them in order, right? We know what the order is. Let's just get them out there together. I know what the server will say. We can manually put the the figures. They don't need Jordan to do 2 laps. That's just, this race is going to be over if they go with that option. So,
also, 4 cars, Alex. I think we can just about handle the mental maths on that one and working that one out.
Yeah, just 4 cars. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think.
Right. Yeah, got 4 fingers.
So we've got plenty of fingers and toes. We'll be right.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And while we're waiting in this little period here for Caruso, right, still waiting for him to connect.
So at some point that Altus charger is going to ping into the pit lane.
As we're at Daytona, do you know how many winners there have been of well, of drivers who've won both the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24, as we're on Rolex 24 weekend.
I bet there's not many, or maybe I'm surprised. I have no clue. I'm going to go with 4.
Oh, not far off. It's 3.
3.
Which took me by surprise. Because, of course, Daytona 500 being NASCAR,
Yeah.
sports car, 2 very different sort of disciplines.
So who are the drivers?
So Mario Andretti is one of them.
Andretti, yeah, that
Which
would
would
make
probably
sense.
make
Yeah,
a bit of sense, multiple champ car champion. He won it in 1967 for the Daytona 500, and then 72 for what was the equivalent now of the Rolex 24 of Daytona. AJ Foyt was the one listed to the Hall of Fame in NASCAR. He won it in 72 for the 500, and then won the 24 twice in 83 and 85. And he's also, completely useless fact this, but an interesting one, the only person to have won the Indy 500, the Daytona 500, the Daytona 24, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and the 12 Hours of Sebring.
Wow.
Which I didn't know that.
No, that is
That's up there. Obviously with the the Triple Crown. That's
what.
it's like
those Triple Crown people. They'll be like, yeah, he'll be like, yeah, come.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think if anything, that's more spectacular
Oh,
because it's across, lots of different disciplines there. Now the other one, proper left field, who I hadn't actually heard of this guy, Jamie McMurray.
No.
Never heard of him personally, but he picked up the Daytona 500 in 2010, and then he won overall at the Daytona 24 Hours in 2015, and this was the driver lineup. It's when they were back running the Rileys, so this is where it's going back a little bit. He was timed up with Scott Dixon, Tony Kanaan, and Kyle Larson.
That's a pretty reasonable team.
That's not a bad driver lineup.
It's
It's going to be interesting to see this year, obviously, with the new LMDH, the new DPI category. I mean, it's great to see that sports cars is just so invigorated with so many manufacturers, not just teams, but manufacturers, coming back into top-level sports cars.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that they've done that, actually, because it was looking a bit bleak for a while, I think, what was going on.
Well, yeah.
So I'm glad a good portion of them have got behind it. I think, actually, we will get more. We'll see what kind of, how it goes, how successful it is this year. And then I think we'll see a few more join the party.
Yes, there's due to be more coming along in 24 Audi. I need to dig deep into my memory here. Lamborghini as well potentially are coming on board, already to join the raft that we've got now between BMW, Porsche, Cadillac. Obviously, a lot of them running cross series as well between World Endurance Championship and IMSA. It's an incredibly strong place that can only get better and better. As a lot of them have said that they're going to offer their cars out as customer cars as well, not just be works outfits, which also then helps with the sustainability of keeping these manufacturers as well.
Because the manufacturers can actually,
make a
return, make some money on it. That's what it all comes down to. It's what the world ticks on, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, if you look down into the GT, categories as well. Obviously, I know we've already lost GTE GTLM as it was called in IMSA, but we've lost that obviously within IMSA now. It's its last season within the World Championship, and well. Look at GT3. The success, the raft of Porsches you see, the Mercedes incredibly popular as well. Customer cars that are running them. Obviously, the Aston, we don't have it in iRacing. I do have to wonder whether that one will come along. But then also, where iRacing are tied in with IMSA. We've spoke about it before in one of the previous rounds. You've got the likes of, on top of it, Lexus that don't have any affiliation to iRacing currently. Other brands like that, whether you're going to see those come along, it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see how it pans out. Let's just see the drivers there just having a bit of a conversation. Salvar currently on your screens right now. There's Ryan Van Vartelaar, looking very, very calm and just chatting away and having a bit of a joke there. I suppose you can treat it as pretty much a dry run, can't you, for a chance to feel out your opponents and see how the drafts worked out with, you know, it being a 3v1 as there's room in mind.
And then Jordan, you know, gate crashing the the webcam in the background in his Alta's top.
Yes, yeah, don't mind me. Empty chair for where Jordan should be, as I believe heading across into a new server. They're going to reset things as to how close it was to the finish time. Not being able to get that race in, obviously we'll need the 3 races to make things all square and fair and even during this downtime. But I think one thing we can take from it is that it's not going to be the complete and utter whitewash and domination that coming into this. We were speaking in the studios beforehand that we thought potentially it could be 4BS. Jordan's in with a chance.
Yeah, he is absolutely. I think what I said at the start, the track somewhat is a big leveler. It doesn't matter if you're a couple of tenths off, and not that I think Jordan is at all. It's just that, yeah, there's no way they're gonna separate unless there's a big infight as well, and I think that's why Jordan was quite sensible very early on. It was just like, nope, no, I'm not gonna lose the draft now. Like, you go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll stay in contact, and you know, he could literally push them down the straight to catch back up if he needed to. So I think Jordan was sensible there. He put himself in a good position that, you know, he could have got a run out of that final corner. So yeah.
It's coming out of the bus stop. Just how close do you need to be? It's not like down at my level where you want to have a bit of a gap to get the run on the car in front of you and then push you out of the corner and then, you know, utilise the slipstream ahead of you. But these guys, they're all, as we've seen from qualifying already, haven't we, Alex? They're incredibly similar on pace, but, you know, will they want to leave back a little bit of a gap or just follow through nose to tail through the bus stop?
I think if you're too close, you fail to get a run, right? You fail to get enough of a run, or you get them too early, so they come back. They use the side draft to come back past you. So I think you want to be far enough back that you just get in front on that start-finish line, and that's it, you know, because there's nothing they can do about it, you know, because you will have the momentum. So
yeah. 3 attempts?
I actually think it's probably more like half a second.
Really? As much as that?
Half a second, I think like 4 tenths, you're going to get there before sufficiently before the start-finish line. You'll get sucked up a lot more. That's where the most of the draft sort of kicks in, I think, from about half a second, 4 tenths up, and then so if you can be half a second back, you've got that extra tenth to build up the momentum, carrying, you have more overspeed to be able to try and hold on, so that side draft doesn't kick in and equalise out. So, and then of course the guy behind, he'll want to be like 2 tenths, 3 tenths behind that guy, because he'll get the big pull from him straight away, which is where we might get our 3 wide situation. Because he just needs to go with the, it needs to be, no one can see my hand, damn, why can't people see my hand?
Yes.
Yeah, so he'll come out, and then the 2 guys will follow out, and then he's got to bleed there. He's got to stay really tucked into that second car to try and get it.
It's a 4 wide possible.
Don't know. I think you'd have to come out like that, like a tenth behind, and really be sensible.
Yeah.
There's enough room on the track, that's for sure.
There definitely is. There's no denying that one. We've seen it before within sim racing. I think it was on one of the many clips of the week, month, depending on what iRacing decides to put out. Or I'm pretty sure I've seen. Well, I know I've seen 4 wides definitely between Ford spec racers, but I want to say on the Lotus 49 they had a 5 wide at one of the finishes. Which, I mean, those things are scary and like you said, crazy. I think is where to put it. It's a boat with 4 wheels and a lot of power and using the rear wheels to steer effectively. But so going 5 wide on with those things, I think a unique challenging feat, we'll call it. Bravery, a lot of stupidity, possibly. So just to keep you up to date with what things are how things are panning out here. Obviously, due to the disconnection of Jordan Caruso from Altus, we're going again, reset the server, going to start things over again.
Don't know exactly what they're doing. I don't assume they'll be doing qualifying again or anything like that. Hopefully they'll just jump straight into the race.
I would imagine so.
Obviously, be a bit shorter or something like that, or what we're doing here.
Well, because we can set the grid for manually within the sim. Although we have enough of a run up anyway. Just bear with us. We're going to have 6-minute race 1, and the drivers will be in the same order as what. I was about to say Barneveld then. It's when Caruso experienced his disconnect. So this is definitely going to be a sprint, all or nothing race to the line. As 6 minutes, so that's going to means there will be approximately 4 laps, all or nothing. Then we'll continue on with 2 further 15-minute races beyond that. The waiting continues. So the drivers don't need to worry about tyres. We see the part of the fair there. Just how much commitment can you put into it? I mean, even at 4 laps, that's not going to be quite long enough, is it, to destroy the tyres? I would have thought, Alex. I mean, surely they can. Yeah, that's just going to have enough time that you can absolutely just shred them to pieces and not have to worry about any negative effects from the tyres at 4 laps.
Yeah, I don't think they've got anything to worry about. It's funny, there's quite a drop-off on the tyres quite quickly, and then they kind of come back as fuel levels go down and things like that. But yeah, they'll just have at it. I think
just go for it. Absolute hell for leather. No questions about it whatsoever.
So if you guys getting the gloves back on and things like that?
Yeah, they're getting ready to go, and we definitely are here, as we've got a... Yeah, we're just going to... The driver's got a couple of minutes which to connect to the session.
Now the downside is we need to hope that this doesn't happen again, otherwise, you know, it'll be a bit unfair if they don't stop the race, but how long do you keep resetting this for?
Well,
obviously they want to progress this and get it to the end, so let's hope we don't have the
definitely
same problem again.
It's a bit of a false start, but we'll find out in time, definitely. And you've got to feel for Jordan, you know. Moves across into an area which there's more, but doesn't have to deal with the ping and, you know, such long distance connections to a server. And then he's the one who disconnects.
I mean, I'm gonna go with it wasn't a disconnect. I'm gonna go with it was a sim crash, right?
Yes, exactly. I think it's probably more likely, isn't it? Seems like you said, they're all in the same.
Yeah, they're probably on the same switch and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna suggest that was there.
It's not far away now from getting everyone back into the sim. Everyone already sat into their rigs, so we're going to head to the race. Not too far away, definitely. And
nice in that background.
Enjoy it.
No drink driving going on there. Come on, guys, keep it clean.
It's a dangerous game. Well, definitely drink driving in real life. No question about that one whatsoever. But haven't done it in the sim world, and also on Eurotruck as well. That definitely reinforces you should not drink and drive in real life. Thank goodness you can press the reset button in the virtual world. But yeah, when you're certainly hurtling through the highways with after numerous beers with your mates, and there's half of you on the wrong side of the road.
How do you turn Euro Truck Simulator into an esports?
Well, you say that. Farming Simulator has quite an avid esports scene. Which just goes to show, I think, that you can make an esports pretty much out of anything going.
I'm thinking, like, you know, the cannonball running, kind of like, you know, on Euro Truck Simulator. So I appreciate it.
Listen, a few people that do speed runs,
something like that.
You know, across the, well, it used to be across the longest points of the map, but since they've done a brilliant job of expanding it, it's grown and grown. That does take quite a bit of a while now. But yeah, from one side end of the UK to the other, from Aberdeen down to Plymouth, the farthest points. You say that it doesn't take that long, thank goodness. You can soon hurtle down that, definitely.
So if you have to do it all manually, then it's going to take some time.
Oh yeah, if it was one-to-one scale, then yeah, it'll take you a couple of days. But luckily it isn't. Luckily it isn't any stretch of the imagination. But this wait feeling almost as long as... It took 15 months to build this place, which is quite a feat really. Because you think in the modern day and age of how long a brand new circuit comes along, you're talking a couple of years at least from inception.
So that's not just the circuit. That's the whole the grounds, the station.
The whole shooting match.
That's pretty quick. Yeah, they went for it, didn't they?
Oh yeah, and also when they built it, they had to take into, because of the size of the places, to Indianapolis. I'll treat you to a useless Indianapolis fact shortly. But they had to take into account the curvature of the Earth. It's that big.
There you go. Things you don't know.
Only in America. Well, yeah, everything has to be certainly in tech. Big is best. But yeah, inside Indianapolis, you can fit the Lawn Tennis Club of Wimbledon. That's really stretching my memory here. You can fit the Yankees Stadium, and this is all together as well. It's that large. I mean, there is a lake in the side of it.
I was about to say lake. There's golf course and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, same as what is inside Daytona. It's really stretching my useless knowledge now. But yeah, you can fit. There's a lot of stuff which you can fit in that. Olympic swimming pool, needless to say. Yeah, it's frightening just the scale of these places. You don't really get the for it. Certainly when you're driving the Sims. I mean, having been to Le Mans myself, we camped up at Eau Rouge, and the walk just from there. That's Eau Rouge. I'm getting my circuits mixed up now. I'm all of a sudden just across country into Spa, but Tertre Rouge is similar names. That's what I'm blaming it on. And the walk from there all the way down to the Ford Cane, you're talking like it's a good half an hour walk.
That's crazy. Yeah, you really don't think of it. Obviously, you just think of it when you're driving it.
Oh, that's it's only right on the corner. Yeah, it's
250 kilometers an hour, whatever. Probably am a bit more.
But yeah, especially on these super speedways, they're getting up to well over 200 miles an hour. It's no wonder that you have such short lap times without absolutely hurtling around. Which I'll tell you what, we've got just waiting a little bit longer here. I'll treat you to my favourite corner name in the whole of motorsport, because normally they're named after drivers, or in America. Bit unimaginative. Most of them are turn numbers, with only really the bus stop stroke Le Mans chicane, and the Rodriguez International Horseshoe being the only two corner names. It comes from a British circuit because a bit more imaginative for Brits, but it's all from Alton Park and Knickerbrook.
Yep.
Any idea? Do you know the story behind this one?
I don't know the story behind it. I mean, I know the circuit, I know the corner.
Yeah, know it very well.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty good name.
Yeah. So now, need to take a deep breath here and make sure I don't get tripped over this one. So a gentleman by the name of Blaster Bates. I have to say that very, very slowly and carefully.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there's everyone. Well,
Go. Get it.
Well, I'm going to save this one up for the break between the next two races, as we've got the drivers back out on track and heading behind the Porsche Element safe car.
Oh, what? You win again straight away. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, that's Caruso. Right, we'll see if we can get him up and running and connected. Clearly having a few PC issues. It's got to be there, hasn't it? Well, good news, Alex, is that we're sorting out that one, I can continue on my story for you. So, a good job I didn't rush it as well. So, yes, a gentleman by the name of Blaster Bates, a local demolitions expert, is brought in to remove two oak trees that once sat at the corner. And, well, obviously, it's they rather than use a chainsaw, they weren't invented all the way back then. Uses explosives because they were hefty old trees to get rid of them, and in doing so, let's just see the drivers heading to the pits right now due to the issues Curacao is experiencing. Yes, he stood there with one of the local groundskeepers of the manor that is Alston Park, and he on doing so, the second explosion goes off. They see two people get up from the reeves and run away. Well, doesn't take Britain, to truly work out what they were up to, but they took a bit of a wander down there, and they were being amorous with one another. This is a polite way of putting it, and they found a pair of knickers in the river.
Yeah.
Which is another word for a river. It's a brook.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called River Brook.
There we go. Sorry, I did not know.
Okay. One of the best names for a corner in motor racing. It's yes. Oh dear. Getting a bit of a jip there from our producer in the background as well, just for a good measure. But yeah, and I've struggled ever since to find a better name for a corner, well, a better story behind a name. As also, here's another one for you. Driver. Well, there's two tracks I can think of anywhere off the top of my head. You can tell we've got time to kill. Of drivers that have a corner or a straight named after them at more than one circuit. Oof. I'll give you a clue. One of them is British. And they're both at British circuits. Any ideas?
I'm going to say, I don't know. It's got to be something like Sterling or something like that, right?
No, more recent.
More recent.
More recent. Might have won a few F1 World Championships recently.
Oh, okay. Does he really? Over multiple circuits?
Yeah, he's got obviously this Hamilton Straight, and then also Snetterton as well as Hamilton.
Okay.
Second one, Hans Bocht. Hold on. We might have some. I'm being waved at profusely by one of our stewards who's just trying to give us a bit of an update here.
I think he just wants to answer your question.
He wants to join in on the Tim's quiz.
It looks
Here
like,
we go.
It looks like Donkey from Shrek. He's like, pick me.
He does, yes.
Reaching up over the screens.
Is it what? Clark? Well, that wasn't the one I was thinking of, but the other one is one's at Zolder, and the other one is the other corner is at Red Bull Ring, as it's now called.
Okay, I still don't know. My track knowledge is not great.
Well,
corner names, straight names.
You think you know them as you've used to race on the iRacing World Championship in single seaters. So imagine that. Would you have visited Solder when you were doing that?
I think I did do it in the FW31. Yeah.
It's more of a retro because F1 has visited there. It's been a very long time since they visited there, but they have visited there in the past, haven't they? And obviously Red Bull Ring and Osterring, as it was called previously, and it's new cut down ever slightly. Now I've been waffling so much, and I got all excited about we thought we had a update to it, to our current situation. I've actually, shockingly, I've forgotten the answer to my own question here. So let's. I know. It's appalling. Here we go, and the driver is. That's it, Jochen Rindt. Yeah, and it's final. Yeah, the final corner at Zolder, and penultimate at Red Bull. There you go. And on that bombshell, it's time to head to a break. We'll head to a quick break where we will see you on, an update of what's happening. We'll see you shortly.
upgrade the race for you. People have to engage it. Really expect very good and like coming off. Game over right away.
Wow, look at this. Ozzy said that's a little adventurous going on the outside. Yeah, I just gotta get that position. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move
right up.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were going at it, and the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're going to get a replay of it, yeah. Darting right to the inside as we get a replay here. Coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.
Are you struggling to keep up with the top drivers? Are you ready to get faster and more consistent? If so, it doesn't have to take as long as you might think. With the VRS competitive subscription, you'll have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything you need to analyze your driving and see exactly where you're losing time. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off your lap times. When it comes to your equipment holding you back, the powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the best drivers in the world, including Jordan Caruso, Tim Ryan, Jordi Lopez, and Oscar Piastri. It's no secret that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also the best value for money. So if you're looking to upgrade your wheelbase to direct drive and want highly adjustable, ultra-realistic pedals, VRS is your answer. You can get better, faster, and more consistent in less time and for less money. You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. Just go to the URL or the button below and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back, and we're understanding it's a technical issue that Caruso is experiencing with his PC, so it's all good to know, and at least it's being looked at right now, and well, hopefully we can get things all sorted. And good to see so many of you going off in the chat there, sticking with us during this slight delay, and quite a bit of love for Ryan Barneveld, I'm seeing.
I mean, he was on screen for about 10 minutes there. I'm not surprised.
Well, yeah, it's kind of understandable. And well, one of the ones that drives choosing to sit in his car, and well, I mean, also I mentioned earlier about Ruben Bonga. His birthday's in a couple of weeks. It's not long until after that when Ryan's going to be, I do believe, for my maths, he's going to be 22 in about 3 weeks' time.
22.
I know.
He's a producer that remembers those times about as much as I do.
Oh yes, that's a very long time ago. It shows your age when you think, well, it's not that much older than the children. Oh dear.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, this is what happens to the old folk.
I would, yeah, it'd be great to be 22 right now, the racing scene as it is, and stuff like that. Yeah, like the sim racing scene, like just getting into it in absolute prime. I'd love to give these guys a run for their money.
It's accessibility. Got that word out in the end. Had 3 goes at it. Of the equipment as well now, with the level of choice that's available. It's the depth and breadth is frightening. Whether it's top level equipment like what VRS provide, all the way down to the cheapest set now for wheels and pedals is the Thrustmaster brought out recently. That's only £180. And I know the creator of Gran Turismo, the whole franchise, he came out recently and saying, is sim racing really that accessible to the masses? Well, I think it's more so than it's ever been, especially with these entry level kits. Yes, okay, they're not going to provide the quality as top end equipment, but having said that, on the flip side, you can dip your toes in the water, especially with console sim racing as well, for likes of Assetto Corsa Competizione, You've also then got the likes of the F1 franchise games as well coming along. And although many might claim they're Simcade, obviously Gran Turismo too. There's real choice there at every single price points, and yes, sim racing is notoriously expensive to get into. Between, especially if you look at iRacing, but then it is, but it isn't. It's a lot of it is what you pay for is what you get, the perennial, and it just shows with iRacing's online system. Nobody can match it whatsoever. There's a lot of people they've tried to, but nobody's come close, and it just works so well, and it's been proven time and time again. You just look at the special events that they put on. I think I calculated that there was something like about 10,000 teams signed up over the weekend to iRacing Daytona 24-hour.
So it was 6,000 teams, like 16,000 drivers.
There we go. I got right. I got one number partly right.
Might even be less than that. It might have been 4,000 something.
But even so, if you think of the amount of people,
insane.
It's an insane amount of people for what essentially is quite a bit of a niche of a niche. If you take racing, if you take gaming as a whole, you then take racing games, everything where from very arcadey, from Need for Speed, especially the new version with its mixed reception due to its street art graphics for part of it, for like the side smoke, all the way through to your proper massive sims, iRacing, R Factor, etc. We are very much a niche of a niche, within that dedicated hardcore sim racing fraternity. But even so, to have that amount of people just turn up on one game, obviously Racestream had their Daytona 2.4 hours a couple of weekends ago as well. It is growing, and it was, I think, part of the worry, wasn't it, within post-lockdown, what would happen, where we saw this massive boom to our community, and to watch it grow, and yes, we've lost a few people, but to still retain the vast majority of those people, it's just benefited us massively, and I suppose it must help you, but a team manager.
Yeah,
it does. That bigger pool of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Just obviously getting some questions on the chat, just asking us kind of what's going on. So we're obviously PC unfortunately crashed, which bumped him out of the race. We basically launched a new server, got him back in, and it went again immediately. So the guys are just having a quick look at the PC now, try and get him sorted. Obviously, it would be a terrible shame if he can't compete in the races. So we're just kind of trying to hold fire, extend the what is basically the qualifying or the grid in time at the moment, to try and get it sorted so we can get Jordan in. But that's kind of what is happening. So yeah, just a bit unfortunate, but trying to give him every opportunity to compete for this final. So stick with us. Obviously, we're just filling time at the moment, hopefully we can the guys can get it sorted soon, and we can get back racing.
Likewise, if you've got any questions at home, I'm joined by Alex Simpson, team manager of Apex Racing Team. Love to receive them, so I can grill him over those ones, or any points of.
We are on different channels here, Tim, so you'll have to be a bit careful with that. We could be ignoring people.
That is very true. So, yes, we're not on you, are we? That's a very good point.
So to Twitch, VRS as well.
Of course. So, apologies for having a few technical difficulties on the audio there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Perennial granularity in the system today. It's nothing but
kicking off.
Yeah, they've got obviously drivers over at Rolex Daytona 24 hours, where they are driving from. We're from the Apex Racing TV Esports studio, myself and Alex. And well, always good to have you on board with all of us here. And what is the iRacing's largest prize to get things kick-started. And good to see Jonathan Grabowski there, a good friend. Question: how much would a top sim racer lose on a low-budget setup? It's definitely one for yourself here, Alex. And how much would a normal racer gain on a high-end setup? I just watched your brain trying to compute.
No,
So,
I mean, I'll. There's definitely an advantage to having decent direct drive stuff and decent pedals and stuff like that. I think there's more time to be found in pedals than there is in the steering wheel. I mean, it's something we should probably do a video on to actually kind of find out. Do here's an hour's worth of testing on with this equipment, an hour with another one, and then switch and see. I'm going to go about half a second. It's not a huge amount, but I bet there is as much as half a second a lap from having decent.
From having from having a average person having from having normal equipment to decent equipment.
So entry level to the absolute best, I bet it's half a second.
Wow.
So I mean, I've seen some drivers like Sebastian Joe run with G27s absolutely right at the top level. And perform amazingly. So yeah, I think you can definitely compete with those, but they definitely give you a little advantage.
That's definitely interesting because it's always one of the perennial questions asked, and we've seen this decent drivers out there, running on what's considered in air quotes inferior or lesser equipment. That is viewed as i.e. Logitech G29, which is nothing wrong with it whatsoever, and I ran on it for numerous times. It's still to do with the wheelbase. So where I'm at in my upgrade part of process. But then, I suppose what the next question is that leads on from that: driver coaching with pros. For a mere mortal like me, why I commentate rather than drive. How much time can that bring? I mean, surely, I suppose that's got to be more of better investment pound for pound than what new equipment is.
Yeah, I mean, what does setup give you and things like that?
Well, so that's the next one, isn't it?
So setup and coaching, I guess. There's a few things obviously you have to get absolutely right with the set. Like let's say for example, like tire pressures, right? Like everybody knows where tire pressures need to be on iRacing right now. If you were to go out there and run max pressures everywhere, there maybe is a couple of seconds a lap that you're going to lose immediately. But if you get those like fundamentals right, as in sort of the pressures, and you're not doing wonky cambers and stuff like that, so you've got a reasonable setup. Yeah, I would say there's probably, again, as much as a second, maybe, from doing lots of tweaks, getting a super refined setup for yourself. That's a big caveat as well, because one setup that it fits somebody like a glove and they can full confidence to push and things like that is not somebody else's cup of tea. Like I've had sets from the guys in the past when I was doing World Championship races are undrivable. I couldn't drive them. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever driven, and they're smashing it. I build my own setup that is drivable for me, and there's a couple of tenths between us or something like that. So I think that's the thing. Like the setups do need to be optimized for everybody. So that's where obviously working with somebody can really make a difference. You can take a good base setup and go, it's doing this, it's doing that, it's doing that, doing some refinements to yourself, understanding what does that. That can give you, like I say, I think up to a second from like a good baseline setup or something like that. So, but not a huge amount more. If you really maximise the car to the best, like I think a good example is some of the fixed setup series that you see. The guys that are really quick in that, they're quick in both the open and the fixed. It's not a huge amount of time between the lap times that they're doing. To be fair, there is certainly some, but not massive amounts.
But then I guess as well, I suppose it depends with those fixed setup series, just how that fixed setup is made. So, let's say hypothetically, I prefer a car with a bit more understeer, you prefer one with a bit more oversteer. If the fixed setup is set to be more understeery, then you may not do as well in that compared to an open setup one where the setup you may have that's a bit more oversteering per se.
And that's the problem with fixed setup series, isn't it? Anything fixed setup is that, you know, you've got to adapt to it as a driver, and some people are more comfortable with a car in certain fashion as another. So yeah, it's like I say, never underestimate the power of tweaking the setup to fit you. I think that's the thing. If you've got something that you're sublimely confident to drive, that it's never going to do anything strange underneath you, you'll find time just because of the confidence.
But then also, I suppose it's a little part of it as well is the racing lines as well. That's where driver coaching comes in as part of it, where that's where the
I mean, it really
is.
It really is too easy just to think it's all in the setup. Like, I'm 4 seconds slower because it's the setup and the wheels and pedal and stuff like that. But really, probably not. Only, you know, 33 to 50% at max is that. The other 50% is driving the car properly, studying what the guys are doing in terms of how they're braking, how early they're braking. You know, are they engaging ABS, things like that. When do they pick up the throttle and things like that. So there's, a lot of people will just be, I know it's all in the set, but actually when they sort of study that, they can really find an awful lot of lap time by doing that. And there's great services out there that can help with that and use that. Like VRS obviously have got, you know, packs from the Commander team, from us here at Apex, and now Altus have joined the fun. As well on the roadside, so you know there's loads of coaches that you can get different kind of setups from and things like that, and study the data and kind of understand what's going on. So yeah, the rest of the time, you know, there's a lot to do with driving.
Well, I suppose that's made it a bit easy as well, and going on to what we're saying now, where it's more accessible and that ability to come faster is as well, where also VRS have got their analytics package as well, which is, you know, you can easily, you can drop it, compare your time against the pro, and you can even see down to, you know, the line as well. But you can download their Ghost file as well, plug that in.
I don't think a lot of people use the Ghost. I mean, I think it's one of the best tools iRacing has if you want to develop as a driver. I mean, like I say, I know downstairs don't use it, right? But for a tool, for me, it was one of the best things. I tell you what, it was the best thing is about the Ghost is it's about your consistency. If you practice against your Ghost with a tyre that generally goes off over a stint, and you keep trying to match those times, you'll find actually that you'll drive the car in the early laps in such a way that you're not taking too much tyre life out of it and things like that. So yeah, I used to find that often racing against the Ghost was the best prep for me, to make sure that my stint average was as best it can. Because obviously a lot of people go out there and just do 1 or 2 laps, right? That's usually what you do.
Yeah.
And then there's things like, but that's not where all the time is. Lots of people match the pro guys for 1 or 2 laps. It's the long run stint that makes a huge difference. So, and that's what the Ghost tool can really help that. It also gives you absolute direct live indication as to what you're doing different to them. Yeah. So if you're braking a little bit later, you'll know because you'll close them up. You know, and you'll see it. You know, I know you can see it on the Delta bar and stuff like that, but actually see on there, if they're over a little bit to the left, you know, you'll really see it. You know, you'll see where they're using every last inch of the track and things like that. So, I mean, I think it's, like I say, one of the best tools for learning. And lots of people don't use it. So.
One of the things I've actually picked up myself and actually improved on within my racing, although not dramatically enough to leap up to massive standards, but is a lot of people just brake a lot later or harder than what they actually do, and that's where it seems to be the biggest amount of time from speaking to a couple of pro guys where everyone loses time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fundamental sort of thing with everybody's head that they're braking later than me, they're taking more speed into the corner and things like that, where actually 90% of the time they're actually braking a little bit earlier, they're not braking as hard. I talked about it earlier on about not getting into the traction control and things like that. That is not as efficient a braking as what you are if you don't engage, you know, if you take it to the point where your threshold, you're so close to locking up, but you're not there. Like if you're getting the most out of the tyre, that's better than the ABS trying to do it, because that's doing all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that is a huge thing to learn with the braking. So they might brake further back, like 10-20 meters before what you're braking, but they brake less, you know, because actually that works best, and the tire's not too overheated or something like that going through the middle of the corner. And because they're, again, we talked about iRacing obviously being very tire sensitive, temperature sensitive, because they haven't generated so much heat in the tire, they're actually able to carry 2 or 3 kilometers an hour faster through the corner. And then of course they've got that all through the back, the next straightaway section and things like that. So yep, little tips on how to gain some time there.
So basically closer to go faster. Yeah, like Simpson's top tip there. So we're seeing a bit of some highlights from the final at the last round at Sebring. This is the last of the qualifying rounds, and well, a little bit of a repeat in some ways of what we're going to experience tonight, and it was fun, excitement and drama every step of the way. No questions asked whatsoever. The BS guys, well, it was a real challenge for them. It was all about this battle towards the back. Talvar, he ran out victor quite comfortably in the end, but some of the moves we had, this run into turn, this dog eat dog of who was going to come third, who was going to come fourth. Of course, in the qualifying rounds, first place they picked up $300, second place they picked up $200, and third walked away with $100. Of course, fourth, there's nothing. So it was all about that battle for $100. Oh, that doesn't sound a great deal. It was elbows out, and it was fierce competition every step of the way. Well, we had that rounds. We have some absolutely epic overtakes. I mean, can't really forget about the opening round that we had at Laguna Seca. The battles we had there. Now, it was all about Williams Esports there. La Fuente was an absolute fire. Going into the championship, you thought, well, do you know what? This guy cannot be beaten. He's going to dominate this. He's probably going to book. He's almost one step into the finals. But that's where it all came apart. Reina Talvar was thereabouts, and a bit of a mix-up with the grid. We had to reset the final, go again, and that's what allowed Infante to win. But we could see in those early stages that Talvar had that pace, and we had big casualties as well. We lost both the Apex cars early on. Anyway, not too. The team manager sat right next to me, colliding together. Not overly impressed by that one, but these things happen. These short sprint races, there's always going to be action, excitement and drama and potential contact. But from that point onwards, that was the turning point. This championship really became the strength of BS. I mean, you see that free wide there into turn one. Left, right, pick your lane. It could have gone absolutely any way. And running free wide nearly into turn two, it just got closer and closer and closer. And then there was contact with Bongo just being pushed and squeezed wide. You saw there in the last of the BS cars. See it for a different angle. You see just how close it got. On the exit of one, through down into towards two. Absolutely spectacular racing, and that's one of the things about these sprint races, Alex, is that we're treated to the just incredible racing, where there's no time to hang around. You need to make your moves and get them done early.
That's what made tonight a little bit different with the Daytona. They were being patient a little bit. Because they were brewing towards something. So I really hope we get this sorted. Like I say, I am a bit concerned at this point that there could be some fundamental PC problems for Jordan's PC that he's using there. Yeah. So I really hope we get something going for him, or yeah, we push on with what will only be a 3-horse race. Sorry, Zebra fans. Didn't mean to call it a horse.
I'm trying to think what it's called. The animal's called, where it's half horse, half zebra.
Don't know. We might have some fans in the chat that might be able to tell us.
Yeah, love to hear from you as always, and any comments you've got, or to answer my question. Love to hear from you as always here at Apex Racing TV. And well, just waiting for a new surfer to boot up. The third time lucky, as they say. Hopefully this works all well for Caruso. As I mentioned, those PC issues just playing a little bit of a part there. Not far away now, and then we'll be able to find out as the drivers connect in. And we'll be into, well, the third attempt at our first race this evening. I'll tell you, both in there already. It's good to see. It's definitely working out okay. Initially, we've got for those of you who've just joined us, 15-minute races for you this evening. Top 4 cars from the 3 qualifying rounds have progressed to this stage. The drivers are live from Daytona, Rolex Daytona. It's all about third attempts, isn't it, today? 24 hours Daytona, Rolex 24. And they will, well, they've picked up already a lovely price sense where they've gone to see the all expenses paid trip to America. So it's Rolex 24. As well as just, a bit of sim racing on the side for good measures too. But also, the winner from today came away with $5,000 US. 1,500 for second. And then 500 and 400 for third and fourth, respectively.
And that is exactly why Jordan will want to be in this,
Oh, definitely.
Not like
he's had a long trip.
A couple £100 or something like that, a couple $100. There's a potential that it's $4,800 that is the opportunity he won't have, and that's a bit. And he was positioned well in that race. He had every opportunity to try and get it.
He was looking incredibly strong for someone who was all by himself. No one to play with, no one to try and back him up whatsoever.
I think we need to get Jordan in as quickly as we possibly can here, right, don't we? Get him out on the circuit. Don't have him sat in the pits. Just get him out on the circuit and just see if that PC holds up for more than a couple of laps. If it doesn't, then, like I say, I do feel awful for Jordan, but I think at some point Jordan's going to have to go. Just have at it, guys.
Well, you've just it showed the camaraderie, the sportsmanship as well from the BS guys, because you could see Ryan Barneveld. He was looking around instantly as soon as that first disconnect happened to try and work out where he'd gone, and instantly all the BS guys just backed out of it. Yeah,
good sportsmanship from them to sort of hold up to try and get it sorted straight away. So,
but at least, as you say, they're all in the same.
They've done everything they possibly can to allow Jordan to be involved in this and stuff like that. And the drivers, like I say, no one's really sort of. That's been great. Like you say, they want to win this fair and square. So.
Like so, we've had some negative press recently about the sim racing industry as a whole, so it's good to have something positive, definitely, to talk about, and things going forward. Well, you can tell we've got all 3 BS cars into the server, just waiting on Jordan right now. As soon as he's in, I'm not sure we'll get away. And well, there we go. I can see he's just popped up. Well, he's not actually out on track. He's in the process of connecting up, definitely. So that's positive. All moving in the right direction. Of course, Jordan, he won the Porsche 992 category. Moan Marciano in the 20 Sports Series this year. Nice little result. Well, say this year, last year. I still can't get it in my head that we're in 2023. going to like 2022.
Well, so the new season that's all is ongoing already. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been what 21-22 season. We're into 22-23 season now. Yeah.
Interesting as well. Jordan's nickname is Barry. I'd love to know the story behind that one. I mean, as things go, you know, that's a bit random.
Does anyone know that in the chat? Let us know. We'd be intrigued.
And going back to what I was saying earlier, you know, about braking earlier, driving style and that, just watching Ruben head through the bus drop stroke Le Mans chicane, it's the way that the drivers are able to, the pro drivers are able to attack it, and I think that's, you know, as a normal like myself, you watch it, you think, well, it can't be that hard. It's not that much of a complex corner, and you try and emulate it yourself, and that's just where you end up into this overdriving state. Oh, it's talking of overdriving. That's how you hold a slide round turn one.
Yep.
You see Ruben on the screens right now. He's trying to get his eye in and get some time in the car. Just get mindset back in the game.
Come on!
There he is.
Serve it! Please stay connected, John. Let's go, let's go!
The man from down under finally back out on track after numerous technical issues.
That's the problem, he's not upside down. This is why he's having all these problems.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, he's not having to battle with horrific ping and all the other Australian memes.
Someone hang him. Hang him upside down. He'll be fine.
There he is. Finally back out on track, and hopefully we can get race one of the evening underway. As I said earlier, third time lucky. Thanks for all of you staying with us on Twitch, on YouTube.
Still watching.
I know.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Staying with us through our, well...
It was all of Tim's little facts, wasn't it?
Well,
corner names and things like that.
Completely and utterly useless information, I think, is... That's what at least what my daughter would say. Actually, normally she just... not even acknowledge that I'd said anything. It's normally that bad. But no, great to have you all on board, watching along with us. What's been there? Wow. Let's start initially. We had some great racing beforehand. Those that you right at the very start, those that you've just joined us. See, slight delay. First off, due to iRacing server down, which put us a little bit behind schedule. Then we got back up and running, and well, the drivers got out on track after the slight delayed start due to updates to a few of the, well, mostly dirt tracks. It was, Alex. First off, I was yeah, I know. Well, I lied. There was one road track on that. Well, I'd say right. It was an oval. It was the iRacing. That track has some ridiculous banking on it. It's, well, you can tell it's a made-up track anyway. But even so, it's, well, borderline like at 90 degrees to the ground. It's ridiculous to the point of I did a, I say official. It was in one of the cars that you're not allowed to broadcast anymore on iRacing due to Motorsport agreements, Motorsport Games' new agreement. But she started the car out on track and on the banking, and literally the car slid down it. It was it's that steep there. Makes banking here at Daytona look relatively flat in comparison. But so to keep everyone up to date, we've obviously after our delay start, we've got 3 15-minute sprint races.
Well, technically, I think this one's going to be first one. Going to be about 6 minutes.
It is, yes. Yeah. And then, of course, the driver with the most points, 4 points awarded to the winner. Third, so 2 points to third. No, I've got. It's that second and third that always catch
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, there we go.
To fourth.
There we go. It's the second and third. It's just numbers. Bit of dyslexia creeping in. It's all good fun here.
Needs more coffee. That's what he needs, guys.
I don't. Well, that's the thing. I've
been nattering away for the best part of 4 hours.
I've been trying to give up caffeine, as you know, New Year, new me, and all that. yeah, having been like a 9 cups a day kind of guy, and yeah, it's especially this week, it's been a struggle, I'll tell you. It's been a real struggle. But with the drivers, well, obviously those points awarded across each of the 3 races here in the final. Driver with the most points, come the end of the evening, they will run out victorious. They would walk away with a cool 5,000 in prize money, 1,500 going to second, or 1,500, depending on which side of numbering you're from, with 500 and 400 for third and fourth respectively. We have got Reina Talvar, Ruben Bonga and Ryan Barnveld from BS Competition, and they all driving Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evos with Jordan Caruso of Altus Esports. It's a lone Audi, the only driver that's not from BS as well. What can he do in that Audi R8 GT3? It's actually all due to the obviously iRacing better, you know, way it's worked out. The latest update to the balance and performance, they are the fastest cars at the moment. Great to see the Audi returning to form and being back on top. It's this car that hasn't had much love in time. Well, I'm getting up there with it. You could argue though, obviously, them both being very similar. You know, they are the same car underneath, the same engine as well. So they should be back together there once again. It's just getting through the qualifying stage. And then drivers will be taken to the grid. Well, there they are.
Come on.
I can see that. I can see from another. Ready. There we go. You see them on live pictures right now. 4 cars lined up behind the Porsche 911 safety car from Daytona. And rolling start as ever. We're finally, after a long break, getting underway. We're resuming the order that we had when Caruso.
When did he drop out last
Oh, well, it was with.
I literally turned away and turned back. The producer changed the camera, and I was like, no!
No, well, when you speaking like that, I thought, oh, again, not again. But no, we're all okay. We're okay. We're all good to go. We're going to get racing. We're going to get into the action. We're finally going to get to find out who's going to walk away with the win from the first of the 3 races. Part of our warming his tyres up. So was Bonga, you saw him there.
Yeah,
he's not having any of it though, is he?
As I say, let's hear on chat who's going to take this. Put your place your bets now. Tell us who's your money on.
Here we go. Safety car's going to pull in any second. You see the lights are off. Indicators coming in. There's pit entry. In they go with a bit of a drift there, but we're green. And we are going racing yet again. Here in race 1, it's a sprint to the finish. Who's going to come out on top? And they've all come calmly down into turn 1. But it's all going to be like that last lap sprint of who's going to make it to the finish line. And there you go, 6 minutes on the clock. So yeah, we have picked things up where we left off, and Bonga has a good look up the inside into the International Horseshoe, and that is done and dusted. It's now BS competition 1, 2, 3. Caruso to the back, but this is not done and dusted as we spoke about. Well, in the first race, and a little bit in the break in between, Alex, because Caruso being at the back is not the worst place to be.
I mean, yes and no. Like I say, we were talking about the slipstream. I think, you know, you're going to have a hard time to make up 1.2 seconds, which is there now. So I think,
but we did
third
mention,
would be okay. I think he would want to try and get up and get by Bonga if he can now.
Well, Caruso did find himself in this position early on, and it wasn't the end of the world. And with the ability and the way that they're able to catch up. You see Bonga just covering off Caruso there into the bus stop. Nice tactics here.
With that slowdown, first lap slowdown's the worst. I think Jordan has got to push him if he wants to get up there.
Did Ruben cut the grass a bit there, or was it me?
No, I think that's absolutely fine.
Okay, I couldn't quite catch it because it was just in the back of camera shot. Barneveld is pushing Talvar now. Look, so Caruso pushing Bonga. Bonga trying to act as the rear gunner, the buffer between Talvar and Barneveld. And
he had to go for it.
He had to do something, and Caruso was around. Oh, Jordan.
So, Talvar and Barneveld then, that's where it's at. So, let the team orders, you know, go, let's have at it. Like, you guys have got enough of a bit, you've got a couple of laps just to sort this out, and then it's going to be an absolute slogfest to the start-finish line. Chat goes a little wild.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those horrible crashes, right, where you just get that little overlap on the rear sort of quarter panel, and it just turns the car. Like, poor Jordan would have been hard left down there, and still the car turns right.
Just nothing you can do about it whatsoever. You're a passenger, aren't you, at that stage? But Talvar leading Barneveld, 3 tenths between them. Do they have gloves off on the final lap?
A little replay there of the accident. Exactly that. Like I say, just caught that rear quarter panel.
Well, Bonga he turned in as he was, rightly allowed to do so, and Crusoe's, trying to get that car desperately slowed down, but just couldn't quite get it done.
So I'm still pushing. Like, I don't need to.
No, they're still going for it.
No love for Bonga. No. Sorry, mate. You're out of it.
Yeah.
We want to make sure this is 1-2 between us here.
You might have a big buffer to Jordan behind you, but we're leaving you dead and buried. We're off. See you later. Bit of a hesitation on the throttle there from Barneveld. It was almost like it was like, do I have a bit of a look here? Don't I? Do I try it on my teammate? Talvar still remaining up front, half a second, fastest lap of the race. Not that really means too much, especially across a 15-minute sprint race. It's some would say it's completely meaningless. Across a 6-minute one, obviously where we left off, that's how far was remaining left on the clock from race 1. Barneveld has the. Well, let's say Barneveld and Talvar are exactly the same lap time last time around. Well, down to the 100th. Down to the 1000th, not too sure how it panned out, but 143.26 for the pair of them.
It looks like Talvar's gapped a little bit this time, so this will be white flag, right? So, yeah, 1 minute 20
yes.
there. Yeah, so they're going to have at it this next lap then. Like I say, I think it's all going to come down to the start-finish line. They're not going to get in and amongst it before then.
Do these two just pull away and do the same again in race 2 and then go at it in the final race? Because that would pretty much put them secure points-wise for either of them to walk away with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know if they're on Discord having a bit of a conversation or something like that, and saying, "You take this one, I'll take the next one, and then we'll just have a decider." But it might not work out like that, though.
Well, no, it might not. You never quite know. All it takes is one mistake. If they're pushing, just get it slightly wrong. It could end up for curtains for Talvar and Barneveld, but as I mentioned, white flag in the air. Last lap.
Tell you what, Jordan's caught them up. I mean, with 6 seconds, I know it's only come down 3/10. It's not a whole lot, but he has caught them up. So it's a shame. It's a shame. Definitely he's got some pace in that Audi.
Well, it seems though he had no draft. Last time around, he was quicker than everyone.
There you go.
Definitely some pace in that Audi R8 V10.
Got some spectators in the background as well, just watching the guys.
Their monotone look, they're excited and sad with exactly the same facial expression.
Oh, here we go then. So obviously they run up to the Le Mans chicane, and then
I'd say
2/10. There's nothing in it. Like I say, he's close enough to decide what he wants to do here.
There we go, into the bus stop. What is going to happen on the other side? We're going to see a run to the line between Barneveld.
I think if he's too close, maybe this side draft. Let's see. What do you reckon? Was I right or not?
Oh, let's find out, Alice.
Does he wait?
It's going to be a bit of a precursor, isn't it? As you see Barnaval moving up, he's thinking about it, he dips back in again, and now he's alongside. We've got the race to the line. Barnaval just in front by 2 jumps. He's going to do this, I think. Talvar not able to come back. It's nearly to a 10th. At 8 attempts, Barnaval sneaks it from Talvar. After Talvar, including the first running, led every single lap.
Must have been listening to me. See how far away he went from the side draft? There we go. So, yeah, Barnaval having a little go over at his teammate there.
So, Barnaval works away with 4 points to his name for the first race of this evening. Now, complete. Talvar, he's on 3. Bongo is on 2 points with Jordan Caruso. A lowly 1 point.
So it's not over and done with yet?
It's not. We've still got 2 more races left to go for the grand finals of the Pro Sim Racing Sprint Championship Series. As mentioned, the drivers are all the way across in Daytona. The Rolex
Reverse
24.
grid, of course, for this one.
Spot on, Alex. So Caruso starts from pole.
Maybe it's tactical.
Well, we're about to find out. Can his PC hold out? Yeah. But it's look, touch wood. It's held out for those 3 laps.
It's like 6 minutes. His PC. He is in the States, and obviously they have these simulators have been provided. So
exactly, it's you know, with transport, it's one of those things. A bit of a loose component in there. These things happen. These things happen, and we're going to head to a quick ad break now. We will see you on the other side.
That's a little adventurous going down the outside. Yeah, he's got to get that position. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move right up. Yeah, I mean, those guys were going at it, and the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're gonna get a replay of it. Yeah, darting right to the inside as we get a replay here, coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.
Are you struggling to keep up with the top drivers? Are you ready to get faster and more consistent? If so, it doesn't have to take as long as you might think. With the VRS competitive subscription, you'll have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything you need to analyze your driving and see exactly where you're losing time. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off your lap times. When it comes to your equipment holding you back, the powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the best drivers in the world, including Jordan Caruso, Tim Ryan, Jordi Lopez, and Oscar Piastri. It's no secret that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also the best value for money. So if you're looking to upgrade your wheelbase to direct drive and want highly adjustable, ultra-realistic pedals, VRS is your answer. You can get better, faster, and more consistent in less time and for less money. You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. Just go to the URL or the button below and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back to the 2023 Pro Sim Racing Sprint Championship Series here live from Daytona. Well, after a very prolonged and intermittent race 1, the drivers are on the grid for race 2. And we've got a reverse grid on our hands. With Caruso starting from pole for Altus, with Bonga on the front row with him, then Telvar and Barneveld on the second row. There's your confirmation on the screen for you right now. Can Caruso hold on to this one? He currently sits obviously bottom of the point standings this evening across the 3 races. 4 points being awarded to the winner, with 3, 2 and 1 respectively for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Which means at the moment, of course, Barneveld leading on 4, Telvar, Bongo and Caruso the order, but it could all change and flip on its head. Now if you're Jordan, Alex, you're sat in that Altus Audi, what do you do? Do you fend them off and try lead from the front? That's even if they come under and attack you. You know you're so vulnerable from the rear.
I'm going to show my age again and do a, you know, do it like Top Gun. Like, I'm going to hit the air brakes and it's going to fly right by. You know, that's what I think you should do. And just tuck in. Like, I'm going to bring him in closer. I'm going to do what? That is what I think he needs to do. You know, I think he's got to play games. He can't lead coming out of that. We just saw, like, you know, I was miles off with my hole. Got to be 5 seconds. That, like, cleared him completely. Like, side draft didn't come into play at all. There was enough overspeed, so yeah, it's going to be.
So from your Top Gun reference, Jordan needs to hit the afterburners.
Well, I mean, certainly does need to do that, yeah. If he's got boost button, definitely hit it. But yeah, I think he'll... They'll just sit behind him. I think he needs to try and not put himself there.
What we saw for obviously the end of the first race, he's got pace in the Audi. He's definitely got raw pace in there, so... well, it's not done and dusted. It certainly isn't until the checker flag flies. The safety car is in. Controlling the pace and goes a bit late, and they all move away in a uniform formation. Barneveld tucks in behind Telvar, who then moves ahead of Bonga recently. Bonga on the outside for BS, and ooh, they'll be praying there's no blue on blue here. But Telvar ahead of Bonga. Barneveld at the rear of the 3 BS car train. Caruso leading the way down into the International Horseshoe for the first time in race 2. And as predicted, I mean, a bit more of a shuffle around. Wasn't necessarily, for me, expecting to see Telvar head in front of Bonga. I thought they might have remained pretty much, you know, line astern and as they were, but Caruso, he needs to work hard surely to pull out as close to a second as possible he can. But the trouble is, as soon as he gets out onto, you know, out the infield, you know, he's going to know full well himself that those 3 BS cars will be, you know, pushing each other along.
Yeah, exactly. That's as far as I think he's going to get, about 4 tenths. I think it's going to get caught back up. But
the interesting part...
I wonder if you do... And again, right, I don't want to give some tactics or anything, but I wonder if, like, you know, on the final lap, if you're Jordan, maybe, like, you brake a bit heavier into the bus stop and
just catch
try and catch the guys out a little bit so they're a bit off kilter or something like that, and maybe you get a bigger gap than what you would have done because they're like,
a little
trying not
to hit
him
from the norm. Just put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, just to affect their run or something like that. You know, it's got to do something, I think.
He needs to really change it up and just try something different. You clearly tell how gently Telvar is taking it. He's coasted into turn 1 there, not risking anything and doesn't need to. Tom definitely on this side. 15 minutes on the clock.
I think Barneveld will want to get by Bonga here, right? Like, he won't want to lose a bunch of points to Telvar. Like, that would put Telvar net in the lead, right? As it stands at the moment, anyway. So,
but then a good result here from Bonga then puts him just... It throws everything up in the air.
Yeah, I'm just thinking they're just out there for themselves at the minute. It's not a team orders or anything like that. They're just doing that. So I think genuinely Barneveld will get by and get in front here if you can, or at least right behind Telvar, so that they're equal on points going into that final race, and they both know exactly what they've got to do.
Wow.
I mean, as for Bonga, he'll just want to win. That's how he gets back into it, because obviously, you know, a couple of points behind.
I think so at the moment. I mean, he still would be just about within the fight of trying to make it, but it would definitely be advantage Rainer Talvar right now. Everyone just happy to sit behind Caruso. You can see how the slipstream works. Just walking up to the back of Talvar's Lamborghini. That's a bit of a look up high. Nearly end up tripping over one another. Oh, perennial push to pass. It's a button, but this side, it's going to be a free wide across the start finish line. The race down to turn 1. And all of a sudden, Caruso up the inside, goes from first to third. He's back up into first as they're all side by side. They're like the animals going on to Noah's Ark as we come through 2 here. Caruso just ahead of Talvar as we come through the international horseshoe, but Talvar's on the inside. Is this going to be for the lead? Yes, it is. But Barneveld, all that's going on, he's up into third, and Bonga down to 4th. Wow. That shuffled and flipped on its head just in the blink of an eye, didn't it, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, that really shocked me. I really didn't think they were going to try and go there, but like I say, I feel that was probably Bonga trying to get himself into a position where he could win this race, was why he pushed his teammate there. So, like I say, if Jordan's P2 at this point, he'll want to hold on to that P2. I think he needs to absolutely push Talvar here and try and keep Barneveld out of it, so he's got that chance to have a run, and then maybe those two fight each other in the final race. He brings him back into it, but I think he's got to push Talvar. Okay.
Well, here we go. Caruso up the inside into the bus stop. Move done. You said he had to try something a little bit different. A bit of a twitch at the front end there from Talvar. But now Barneveld pushing Talvar along. We saw this in race 1. They're going to move up high, go around the outside. You know full well Caruso is going to defend down low. He's managed to do it.
Going to get him here. Look at this overspeed.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? The overspeed you can carry. And there, look at that. Just emerge out the other side. Barneveld stays high, then has to dip back in again. Couldn't quite carry the speed. But Caruso down to 3rd. A much tighter line from the Australian, just hooking up around the inside there. See a lunge from him. Needs to move early on. No. They're now back to us. They were. So basically up until the final lap of race 1, Talvar leads from Barneveld. Caruso 3rd. Bonga in 4th. We always knew it would be a real challenge here for Caruso to go up against 3 teammates. We weren't quite sure exactly how much they would play teammates, would they? Even just go up against one another and not worry about team tactics too much. Well, you can see there's definitely a bit of team work coming into play here.
So I think to get themselves in the positions, they'll definitely work together. But I think when it comes down to that final lap out that chicane, it's everyone for themselves.
On board with Barneveld. Going to see the push? Yes, we are. And Talvar, he's here and he's just ready to give him a nudge along. And again. To the bus stop. Caruso, he's maintained. You can see, look at the top right corner of the screen, the rear view camera of Barneveld. Caruso just having a bit of a look up high there, you can see. But Barneveld straight into the back of Talvar, pushing him along. Caruso, is he going to join in the fight? He has a bit of a look and he's alongside. He's using that side draft that Alex spoke about earlier to come alongside Barneveld. Could he use it to get past the Dutchman? Could he get alongside the Estonian? Talvar, the race into turn 1, onto the brakes. And can Caruso go the long way round, right round the outside while he's being pushed out wide? He's being squeezed by Barneveld. Now he's got Bonga alongside him. But he'll surely hold on to it. But as experiments go, there's a bit of pace around that outside line, Alex.
I mean, the difference is in the final straight, right? Surely they are not going to be pushing to hold on to it. Maybe got a little replay coming up, yeah. So this is obviously of that 3 wide action that we saw.
I got a bit nervous at one point, Alex, because I thought, is this going to end up in impending death? Well, they're all over each other. There was no room for error, and I'm not even sure, was that maybe a little bit of a contact that Caruso had, or was it just a little bit of a twitch?
So, yeah, I think just a little bit of twitch. The guy really, you know, on the outside 3 wide, really left a lot of room, which is what you know you want to see. So, yeah, good driving amongst them all to not have any contact there.
Yeah.
So I feel like Caruso wants to split these guys up a bit, doesn't he, so that they don't have that monopoly. I mean, like I say, from his point of view, if they push each other, he's not going to get to first. But if they do push each other, then Barneveld definitely is giving up points to Talvar and it's even. So will he push him on the final lap? That's the thing, you know.
What does Barneveld push Talvar to victory, and then those two just go at it in the fight, you know, in the third race, where they would be even on points going into it. It's Caruso having a bit of a look up high once again, but don't discredit Bonga. You can see him closing in, and they're switched out. He's going to come down to the inside. Caruso up the inside of Barneveld onto the brakes, and he's up into second. He's managed to split them up, like Alex was just talking about, but can he defend it into the international horseshoe? Or does Barneveld stay behind? He doesn't even need to. Caruso up into second, and all of a sudden, this has got a bit more interesting and changed up. 9 minutes out of the 15 complete. Talvar leads from Caruso, Barneveld and Bonga. Wow. Well. How would you like them apples, Alex? It just all of a sudden flipped on its head as we see the replay of how it all folded into turn 1.
Good strong move, you know, full commitment. Made sure that he knew that he was coming down there, and yeah.
It was assertive and aggressive without being over-aggressive. And now, I mean, surely Talvar's a bit under a bit of threat here, because you can see Caruso's just going to be able to close up on the back of it, and he's got nobody to push him. There's no Barneveld there to push him, but equally, will Bonga now be pushing Barneveld along? There's so many different conundrums, and
so I personally feel like Jordan should push here to try and hold into second, but as we've seen, you can be third driver and make moves. You know?
So do you think Caruso should remain exactly where he is right now?
I don't know.
Well,
I really don't.
He's going for it. He's going around the outside. He's made it work before. Can he make it work again? But look, down low, because Barneveld's pushing Talvar onto the brakes. Is he going to make it stick? He's being squeezed wide. He's going to hold on to second, or is he? Because Barneveld back alongside him. But Caruso's going to have the inside line, and I suppose it's worth giving him the go, because look, he knows if he can pretty much, yeah, for the last time he tried this, he can pretty much stay alongside Barneveld. Oh, can he? Hold on. This is a bit close. Squeeze through the kink. He's going to have the inside line again.
Just get this move done, otherwise they will lose the draft, that's for sure. He didn't, there's still an overlap.
And now, wow, that is as close as you like, as Barneveld shooting up the inside there. And Bonga, don't discredit him, he's going to try and sneak his way through in the gap that's underneath him. And all of a sudden, Caruso, he's gone from second, he's dropped into third, and it could easily become fourth as he's desperately trying to suck up the side draft now from what was Barneveld, but now is Bonga who's going to push Barneveld, and there we go, there comes the FUD and the nudge.
Yeah, I think Jordan did the right thing, make sure he didn't stay in there, because we've still got a chance to catch the leader at this point. Oh, that was a lot over the curb for Bonga. Hopefully it wasn't a slowdown. Doesn't seem to be dropping back, or maybe he is.
Fun if he moves up high, that'll be a real good indication, but I think he's being pushed. Yeah, I just felt a bit of a nudge from behind. Caruso pushing him, and now Bonga's pushing Barneveld. This is either going to be
the three-car tango's not really, you know, it's the one sometimes. So you have to be a bit careful with that.
It'll be a masterstroke or end in absolute tears for one, possibly two, if not all three of them, but Talvar has pulled out that gap, 7 tenths.
He's got this lap and another.
An ultimate lap of race 2. Go, if they finish as they are, Barneveld and Talvar will go into the final race equal on points. They will both be on 7. I'm trying to do my maths here. Which means that Bongo can't win it, neither can Caruso. So it would be a straight fight between Barneveld and Telvar. There would potentially be a tie for second, depending on how other results go. It's starting to...
So Barneveld should close this down to like back to 0.3 of a second after this straight, so it's absolutely on for the final lap. Talvar would have wanted to see them fight just a couple more corners.
Just all he needed, wasn't it? It's 'cause if you managed to break that draft, pretty much would have secured things for him. But what can Caruso do? He looks down and out, but we've seen he's got that fight within him to try and make his way past. It was an uphill battle for the Aussie coming into this final round, but Barneveld is now, well, I would say 2 tenths away, he's a tenth away. A look at the closing speed that himself and Bonga had. The Salvar's two fellow BS competition teammates just closed, just walked right up to the back of the Estonians' Lamborghini. Right in the background, Caruso having a bit of a move, looking for the switchback here on Bonga, who will undoubtedly just hook that inside line, make it tight and slow as possible to maintain that third place. They haven't lost that much time though. Caruso still on the back of Bonga, who's still on the back of Barneveld. And it's going to come down to out of the bus stop, a run to the line. Who comes out on top, Alex? Will it be third?
I was about to say Bonga is my guess at this point. Let's really shake it up.
One of our producers has just said Caruso. I mean, he's looking a bit further back. He's lost a bit of time out of that final court. That's score before you come out onto the banking, but he's going to close that one right up in the Audi.
A good question on the chat. Is this using...
Oh, straight back. Is he going to slow down? He must have. Oh, hold on. This changes things quite a bit.
Does he run out of fuel? He's spluttering, I think. Anyway, let's see.
Well, hold on. Now, this is advantage Caruso, and he's about on that, the cusp of that gap that you mentioned, Alex. Here we go. They're closing. Barneveld's gone, so he must have run out of fuel. He's into the pits. Caruso's closing. Bonga's closing. Talvar looking a bit vulnerable. Who's going to get it? 2 tenths, 1 tenth. Oh, Talvar's run out of fuel as well. And all of a sudden it changes. And Caruso. No. How close? Dare you want to get it?
We're interested. That makes an interesting final, actually, with it switching around like that, because I think Bonga's got a chance to win this. So has Barneveld, so has Talvar. Jordan has a win, might even still have a chance. I'm not 100% on that.
Wow, this is just... This has made my maths and trying to work out how this is all going to pan out for you a little bit more complicated. So Barneveld, well, as predicted, going into the final race, Talvar and Barneveld are locked on points, but it's not the 7 points we imagined, it's 5 points that they're locked on. Bongo is now the leader on 6, and Caruso's still on 4. He's on 4, so he's actually last, but it's basically a who gets it. I mean,
if you win the race, it's where other people finish, right?
Well,
isn't it? So if Caruso wins and like
the ultimate
Bonga
one,
is second, then he's gonna get it.
If Caruso had have won,
Bonga finishes 4th, then
rather than Bonga, just then, they would have gone into the final race on 5 points. Which, after all the racing that we've had, I mean, just summed up how things have been. So.
Good. That's what we wanted, right? It keeps this final alive. Like, I don't...
Anyone could grab this.
Like, they're going to have to do maths on the fly. They've got no one in their ear telling them or anything like that. So it's just going to be a straight out, like, let's go.
So, Caruso, if he wins this, that will put him on 8 points.
They ran out of fuel a long way from the end. Sorry to cut you off.
No, good.
And I wonder if that was because, obviously, the first race obviously got cut in half. They weren't able to figure out what the fuel was going, so they didn't know. Yeah, and I think, yeah, it's caught them out a little bit there. So Oh, it's a shame because Cruiser's not going to get another opportunity like that
No.
where they're going to run out. Obviously, Bonga didn't because he was third car in the draft through most of that race, wasn't he? So he was able to save the most amount of fuel.
Bit of nervousness now of put a bit extra in, just how much? But then if you're in that draft, you then be ruining that because
one click extra, they'll be all good. I think. Yeah, you can't. They definitely do not want that.
One click, that's all it takes. But we're going to have to a quick break now. We will see you on the other side where we'll be back for the third and final race of this evening.
Said, that's a little adventurous going down the outside. Yeah, you gotta get that position. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move, yeah, I mean, those guys were going out, and the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're gonna get a replay of it. Yeah, darted right to the inside as we get a replay here, coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.
Are you struggling to keep up with the top drivers? Are you ready to get faster and more consistent? If so, it doesn't have to take as long as you might think. With the VRS competitive subscription, you'll have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything you need to analyze your driving and see exactly where you're losing time. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off your lap times. When it comes to your equipment holding you back, the powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the best drivers in the world, including Jordan Caruso, Tim Ryan, Jordi Lopez, and Oscar Piastri. It's no secret that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also the best value for money. So if you're looking to upgrade your wheelbase to direct drive and want highly adjustable, ultra-realistic pedals, VRS is your answer. You can get better, faster, and more consistent in less time and for less money. You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. Just go to the URL or the button below and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back to race 3 of this evening of the 2023 Pro Sim Racing Sprint Championship Series, live from Daytona. Oh, wow, we've had delays, drama, excitement, and it's all built to a crescendo. 3 qualifying rounds, 2 rounds so far in the final. They all come into it a 2-point spread across 4 drivers. This is how they're going to line up. Barneveld on pole, Talvar second. Those two both running out of fuel on the run to the line. Caruso third and Bonga fourth. All or nothing now, Alex.
Yeah.
Got to leave everything on the table.
I was about to say everyone can get this, so depending on where everybody else finishes, it's crazy close.
Just got to give absolutely everything you've got. The winner walks away with a kill, $5,000 in prize money. Who will get it? Said it would be advantage BS, but I tell you what, Jordan Caruso, the fighting Aussie spirit, the plucky underdog, he's not made it easy for it. He's made their lives incredibly uncomfortable, those 3 BS competition drivers of Barneveld, Talvar and Bonga. Can he do the same? So, coming in, Talvar and Barnaval. They're tied on 5 points. Bonga, he's on 6 points. Caruso, he's on 4. Caruso needs to win this to stand any chance of walking away with that prize money.
Yeah, Bonga 3rd or below. If he does that, I mean, that's still a tie. But the win goes to Jordan because it's the final race.
Correct.
Where the winner gets the override for the countback.
So we're green, and we are going for the final time this evening. Who's going to get it? Barnaval leads in turn 1. Talvar 2nd. Caruso squeezing Bonga out wide. As things stand at the moment, if they could finish like this, that would mean Caruso would not win it. He needs to get through it past Talvar and Barnaval. It would mean Barnaval would be champion. We still got plenty of racing to do.
And Bonga would be 3rd as well, wouldn't he? He'd lose out to both Talvar and Barnaval.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big time.
Now what happens if Bonga gets Jordan?
I don't think I've got enough room on my pace to work out all these different.
So that would be tied in 2nd, would it? And then it would just be Talvar because of the 3rd race being the decider type thing.
Now, if drivers are tied in the points, it's decided by their result in the final race that we're currently in right now.
What do we need to get the points all tied?
I've briefly worked that one out, and that is physically impossible.
Oh.
Thank goodness. Otherwise, I think, after I mentioned earlier, a bit of a delayed start due to iRacing downtime and technical issues to Caruso's PC. Bit of a delayed start in the middle of race 1. We got up again. We got that finished. We've just had an epic race 2. But Barnaval and Talvar with recalculated fuel after they both ran out on the final lap. If you've just joined us. Wow, they're going to be back. And look how they're pushing each other. But Caruso is having a bit of a squeeze. He's sent to the outside line. He's made it work before. Can he do it again? He pulls alongside Talvar. He's pulling alongside Barnaval. Can he get a 2-for-1 deal into turn 1? He can't, because Barnaval squeezed them out wide. And that allows Talvar just to hold on to 2nd place for a little bit longer. And instantly backs Caruso up into Bonga. He holds that inside line to the Australian of Alsace. And after all that excitement and drama, they remain as they are. Let's see Talvar there. Stereotypically Estonian, that cool, calm, Iceman-like look on his face. He's not fazed by this whatsoever. I would say it's nothing he hasn't really faced before, but it's a bit of a different format this series, isn't it, Alex? And not something drivers normally thrown into, which just makes things a little bit more tricky. But I mean, they've all been followed in these the early stages of, well, they would have had a Daytona 24 Hours where these guys were pretty much nose to tail for the start of that. It's all, something they're used to is just see Talvar bumping along Barnaval there.
Obviously, there has been a couple of questions about whether it's the Daytona 24 BOP, and it's not. Just to confirm that as well. So it's pre-Daytona 24 BOP.
Closing. Barnaval push.
Oh, that was a heavy hit.
There's pushing, and I'm not hanging around with this thud. Here I come.
I'm sure we've seen this before. I thought for a moment they covered that off.
I thought they had a little bit.
Yeah, Jordan did that to the high side first time and then went low, but they actually, they did cover him this time.
Learned from their mistakes, maybe. As Caruso just has a little bit of a nut, just shows his front nose there on Talvar. Backs out of it, thinks twice. He knows he's got time on his side. 4 minutes out, 15 complete. Barnaval leads from Talvar, leads from Caruso, leads from Bonga. The Dutchman Bonga just happy, electing just to sit at the back of this right now as we look back from Caruso at Bonga.
I mean, Caruso's got Bonga where he wants him, right? He needs to stay behind his 2 teammates if he wins to have a chance of winning this. So that's kind of like half a job done for Jordan. He needs to keep Bonga there.
He just needs to probably pick off Talvar.
I don't know if he does. Because then that gives Bonga a chance to get just get ahead as well? Like, you know, surely PS won't want him to win this. Like, that Bonga could just go through. Like, I don't know, maybe not. Like I say, I don't even know if they're in Discord. They're probably just all at it for themselves here. But, you know, I just think, yeah, Jordan just wants to keep him there, and then maybe, you know, don't know. Yeah, like I say, it was so close in that race to winning that. He just needs to figure out what's better. Obviously, this is the downside with being 1-2 is the push. That makes it almost impossible for him to get to first, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it
He's
before.
struggling to even get to second by the line at this point.
That's he moves up high, moves down.
So you're right,
low,
he's going to have to make a move. He's going to have to get to second before that final lap.
It's the only way to make it through, but can
Or
he
do some serious
get-
bribing. Like, come on,
Well, yeah.
$2,000 for a push.
It's only $1.5 for coming in second. So, well, mind you, for the win it's 5, isn't it? So, yeah, well, worth it with the difference, but
I said they'll get more if they give him a push.
they're all just covering each other off. And if there's a bit of contact, then Ruben Bonga, who we're right on board with right now, is there to mop it up.
There's Bonga on screen as well, I believe. RMP4.
Just acting as the rear gunner, just you know, the sweeper behind all this, trying to mop up any sort of scraps that are coming his way.
So it's definitely a few more people in the background interested in this final race as it's all come down to this.
That's where we come in. Oh, now, looking ahead, Alex, they're all starting to spread out. Barneveld does not feel comfortable. He was covering off Talvar, who was covering off Caruso, coming through the bus stop.
I thought for a minute you said they were all starting to spread out. I was like, there's 6/10 between them.
well, by these standards, but here comes the push from Talvar on Barneveld. Again, Caruso goes high, looking for that side drop. He just can't find it. It's not enough to make this
When
work.
they're pushing.
I mean, he's as closely as he has been. He goes really high and he swoops down low. Is he going to absolutely have Talvar? No, he can't. As Talvar just shuts the door right in his face. And the Australian has to settle for third. Sent back to where he came from. Hitting that third spot, but here comes Bonga having a bit of a nose up the inside. Can't quite get alongside enough. I thought he'd done it there, Alex. I thought that would have been enough. He just
thought he just had
enough
enough over, you know, overlap there just to need a little bit of room into turn one, but nope.
No, he's ahead! Something's happened to Talvar. Look, we're looking back for Caruso, but there's Talvar. He's done it. He's managed to get ahead of the Estonian, and Caruso's up into second.
Gonna definitely need to see it.
Oh! And he checks up on Apex a little bit, and that's meant Talvar and Bonga got into one another. And Caruso, well, he's 7/10 clear of Talvar. Can he do enough just to break that? No!
Are you kidding me?
No! Caruso's... Oh... Wow. No, it's the glitch has come back to bite him again and haunt him again. Wow. As Barneveld, Talvar and Bonga remaining. And Jordan Caruso, well, he'd done absolutely everything he could. And you've got to feel for the guy. You've got to feel for him. So let's take a little bit of a look at a replay of just how it all unfolded down into the hairpin. And it was just a lovely little move up the inside, and Talvar just caught completely and utterly napping.
Yeah, good move.
He wasn't expecting Caruso to even attempt it. Everyone had just been following line astern, and then just all got into the back of one another. And that, well, too sure where we're going to be in terms of standing. As
was gonna say we're not sure quite what's going on at the minute, guys. Obviously, we're just trying to figure that out. Obviously,
now Carusso's appearing as
maybe he's reconnected. So maybe we can get him in. Maybe they'll just finish this off. Obviously, the time will run down, so I'm really not sure what's going on.
We'll keep you updated as soon as we know something.
I was going to quickly say, Tim, as well, if you've only just tuned in and Jordan's had a couple of issues already today. This is like the third time the PC's crashed on him as well. So we've been trying to get it through. You can see a little bit of frustration creeping in on some of the drivers' face as well. Because obviously, they just kind of want to get this done. Bond gone straight onto his phone.
Just trying to. Well.
Yeah, a few deep sighs, things like that.
It's just so gutting because it was all coming together for Caruso. He'd done everything perfectly. He was picking them off one by one and just got himself into a stage of where he needed to be. And, wow. Well. What can we say? Well, you got to feel for him. It's so close to the end of the race, but as Alex was mentioning, those PC issues just coming back to haunt him, unfortunately. And then it all falls apart. But, I mean, could he have ever potentially caught Barneveld? I mean, it was going to be tough. Could he have broken the draft to Talvar? Truth, we'll never quite know. Because he'd run out of 7 attempts was the gap. As they exited the bus stop. Just in slipstream range, though, was Talvar over Caruso. Barneveld, well, he would have been caught by Caruso. As we see on screen right now, as to how it was all panning out. And after starting in third, it was definitely a bit of a yo-yo event for Caruso. Back fourth. And now to just make his way back through, try different things, get experimental. As we saw here where he lost the position to Ruben Bonga in the early stages of the race. And well, it looked like it was going to be a real uphill battle and needed to get creative, did the Australian. Through just sheer brute force and increments, a push and then a squeeze up the inside, saw him into third. This was from the earlier race. That sent him spinning. That put him down and out, which put him on pole for the second race. After we had first issues, got him going again. It's just that bit of contact, and just once you steered it, you made it. As much as you try and steer out of it, you cannot get away from the clutches of, well, swapping ends. And then, from that point onwards, it was the run to the line between Barneveld and Talvar, which had Talvar, after leading all of that race for its 2 incarnations, Barneveld just pips him at the line. You see how close they were. It's the overlap and overspeed, managing to get through, and we'll head through, and well, then that's what kicked things off for race 2 of the evening. With you saw Caruso got the start they needed to move his way through, and that's where he got himself ahead. But it wasn't quite as easy as that for him, because then there was the run to the line. I mean, it was as close as you like. They were back and forth all race long. It was that epic 3 wide into turn 1. You don't see those every day that come off with everyone unscathed. And they managed to do it. It was absolutely amazing. Just looking across into that mile, she's saying that with the double car stuck, it's doubtful they run away. Wow, quite work out like that one, really. The parts, and Caruso, he got to head into the bus stop, and then it was that run to the line, 0.15 of a second, and wow, Well. Some absolutely epic racing from non-stop, start to finish. But if we round things out as things stand, I do believe Ryan Bernhard is our champion.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to do another server. It's whether or not Jordan's going to be able to join, something like that.
Well, I just hope so. I mean, ironically, Alex, it was about with the same amount of time left on the clock. As just hearing right now where, so it's more PC issues with Carusso's machine, and it's working to fix that. Getting back up and running, and we'll get this one finished because we need to know how this concludes, because it was amazing. Amazing racing. It was all coming together. But when we do get it back up and running again, the trouble is that Carusso's gap and momentum, well, his gap's gone, and his momentum's now been stunted a bit, where he was a man on the charge, and any slight damage that Bonga and Talvar had has now been repaired. So he's going to work harder, but it's going to be it's still not impossible, and he's still in a strong position. If he can hold on to second, he'll be outside of that BS competition push and squeeze to be able to get their way through and push their way through to victory. So we saw, I mean, Caruso was getting incredibly creative in that race down to turn one, swooping from high down to low. He tried it a few times. He tried around the outside. The only place he didn't try it was through the middle. He gave it a real good go. But he managed to do it. He did it and made it work. Eventually. Eventually. But the thing is, it doesn't matter when you do it, it's the fact that you do it. It's just seeing the run to the line there between Caruso and Bonga. As mentioned previously, 1500ths of a second is all it was. It's close to like a photo finish. Near as damn it. So I mean, they started from the back, and well, coming into this final race, points still. Talvar and Barnaval tied on 5 points each. 6 for Bongo, 4 for Caruso. That meant that Caruso had to walk away with a victory to even remotely stand a chance of winning this one. He was on course for it. 4 points going to the winner, 3 points to second, 2 points to third, 1 point to fourth. Got it right after getting myself a bit muddled up earlier between the 2s and 3s and getting that the correct way round. But this is where it's getting crucial now. Of how he can restart it, how he can get it going again. And with all this increased time, it just builds the pressure on the drivers. How much can they absorb? How can they soak it up? Maintain their calmness, their level-headedness, the nerves to ensure that they keep finishing their best possible result. Now, just to cover things up, they finished where they were before Caruso's disconnect. He would have finished on, I need to work this one out quickly, he would have finished on 7 points, which would have meant that Barneveld finished, well, he would have won it with a 9.7, picked up that 4 for the victory. He was currently on 5 coming into it. Talvar would have also finished on 7, but Caruso would have finished ahead of Talvar. Bongo also finished on 7, interestingly. So, 7 points apiece, but with their last race result counting as to what order they came in, that would mean that Caruso would have come home second. For doing so, picks up $1,500. With Talvar third and Bongo fourth. Assuming that they obviously stayed in those positions. Would they have? Well, far to find out. Just hearing that they are rescheduling a new server. 5 minutes of racing is all we have left on the clock. Wow. Place your bets now, folks. What do you think is going to happen? The thing is with Talvar is going to be on that inside line. on the outside line. It's Caruso, so it's going to be challenging for him. Whether he can make his way right around the outside. And just looking back through the chat, if you're commenting on the bump drafting going on about how it's a massive shove. It really was. We've seen that there was a zero mechanical, aerodynamic, damage sympathy going on from Talvar and Barneveld. It was a connection with a real royal third. And also good to see Ennio Fungus. What a name. What a name. On YouTube saying, come on Caruso, let's go Altus. Definitely that needing all the support he can get with that underdog status for the Aussie. And the crossover on. Let's have a bit of a catch up with what everyone's been saying across on Twitch. So just wait for it to load up there. Well, that's Marlo LG saying absolute giga moves. Well, it was some giga moves. Especially from Carinas. I mean, had to do it. Caruso had to do it. Had no way. It was the only way he was going to pull this one off. It was the only way he was going to get to the front. Or at least just separate the top two BS competition cars. It's going to take some more when we resume. Of course, as mentioned, 5 minutes of racing when we get going again. It's just at the moment. Caruso's PC just undergoing some TLC, enough just to get it up over the line. It's been plagued with a few technical issues, sadly, all race long. Let's saw see the large break during race 1. Getting into race 3. Don't forget to stay with us. As always, love to hear from you in chat. Marlo LG saying in Twitch, odds were stacked against Caruso straight Altos. Anyway, they were, but I tell you what, coming into this final stage is to be well within a shout of winning this, or at least not coming last. I think it's an absolutely sterling effort from Jordan. And, we saw it when he had that bit of connection with Ruben Bonga at turn 1 in the final, well, the finish of race 1 after we got going again. Sadly, although he was last, he didn't give up, and he was lapping quicker than the 3 BS cars in front of him. Would it have been the same if they'd all run Lamborghinis? Obviously, Jordan electing to run the Audi, whereas BS competition cars electing to run the Lamborghini. So, see, Marlo just saying, never give up. Absolutely spot on there. Just shows why you should keep going all the way to the checkered flag. And, well, I mean, how close was it in race 2 between Bonga and Caruso? In the end, 100th of a second separating them at the line. It's always about Daytona's about. Always brings the photo finish memes. There were so many of them on Reddit. We saw, obviously, post the Daytona 24 hours. People posting 24 hours of racing, and this is how close we finish with near photo finishes across the line. Of course, being helped as well with the additional car class coming along into iRacing, obviously the top level of sports cars. Seeing the new BMW LMDH, and what a car that is! Absolutely beast of a machine, and really spicing things up and making things a bit more interesting in multi-class racing on iRacing. I mentioned, of course, the Daytona 24, one of the biggest special events that they hold on the sim. Well, just waiting for server to load back in again. And unless my eyes deceive me, Alex, I think, is that Jordan in the new server? I think it may well be.
Yeah, I think it is. Just to point out as well, obviously there's some talk about, obviously, fiber and stuff like that. It's not that he's disconnecting from the server, it's the actual PC is physically crashing. So yeah, it's not a connection problem.
No,
it's a hardware thing. Yeah,
no, well worth mentioning for those who have, only recently just joined us. All the drivers, they're out at Daytona itself at the Rolex 24. So they're all. It's nothing to do with internet connection. They're all running off the same
It's also not Jordan's PC as well, because the simulators have been supplied for this, so it's unfortunate.
No, it's one of those things, and one of the things that's happened as the magic of live telly, as they say. No, I can tell you that Caruso he's in the session and he's out on track, so that is promising. That is very promising. So I'm sure, there we go, I'm just witnessing now, they're just moving through the sessions. They had to create a brand new one, so we'll be going racing. I can tell you that it's going to be 5 minutes. It's when they deemed we had left on the clock. We said about it being all or nothing. You can't leave anything on the table. You've got to give everything you've got. That was over 15 minutes. We're now going over 5 minutes.
Full sense.
Yeah, all or nothing. Throw caution to the wind. Just go for this.
Ban for Ruben in the chat as well. Someone from CJ2 in Netherlands.
Right. Oh. So we're just a little bit of prolong. So the driver's out on track right now, and they're just gonna say in the qualifying session just set some inconspicuous times just to get themselves all lined up on the grid where they need to be, and once done that we can then move the session along. So we don't race any of the racing time, and by golly, we do not have much to waste whatsoever. By my calculations, we're going to have about 4 laps remaining.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about...
It's still everything to play for at this point. Like, this whole competition's all been about short sprint races, and we've come to a conclusion that we're going to have a 4-lap sprint.
Yeah.
I mean, no better circuit to have it at, I think. You know?
But it's easy for passing over around here, as we've seen, certainly with that draft. Crucial part is, can Caruso keep those BS cars split? Can he remain in second so there's none of that pushing?
We're sat with the Daytona 24 winner, actually. He's doing a bit of a broadcast behind us as well. What would he prefer? 4-minute Daytona race or a 24-hour race? 4 minutes. Yeah, Jamie says 4 minutes.
I know my colleague Sam Fitzpatrick here, he would prefer 0 minutes. He does not like Daytona.
I don't know. It's all been cunning plan, isn't it? From Sam, really, just to prove that these Daytona races, you know.
He says it's a boring track. Well, I beg to differ, Sam Fitzpatrick, because we've seen some epic racing tonight. We saw some epic racing during the 24. Well, certainly for us viewers. I'm not sure what it was quite like being in the car. Probably a few people with shot nerves after it, or buzzing with excitement. It's the endorphin rush that sim racing can bring, as well as the rage-inducing at times. I'm sure a few of you out there listening at home, you might have lost monitors to frustrations.
Just doing one of the behind-the-scenes producers, stewards session advancing. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. 5 minutes of all or nothing. Pro sim racing. Drivers on the grid. So after... Okay, so clearly I've just seen they've got to reshuffle a little bit. It didn't quite work out in the false qualifying session.
Because Jordan got to second, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he was in second. So, just to remind you, we've had this bit of a break now. Where we left off, as we had Barneveld in first, Caruso in second, Talvar in third, Bonga fourth. Just before the disconnects. They will sort themselves out. Just waiting for them to get off and running once again. And then reshuffle and then go racing. And then we will have our winner for the 2023 Pro Sim Racing Sprint Championship Series on iRacing by Coliseum and VRS, two sponsors for this series. Gonna place your bets now, folks. Who's going to come out on top? Does Caruso hold off the BS guys? Does he even climb up into first? Just with this restart, he ends up getting ganged up on, mugged, and ends up coming home last. Could Barneveld hold on to the lead? Does Talvar come back at him? Bonga just plucks something out. He won the second race after coming third in the first. There's so many conundrums and twists and turns to the tail. This has not been a simple one to work out. It wasn't simple during the free qualifying rounds we had before Christmas. And it's definitely not got any easier whatsoever in the grand final as the Porsche 911 safety car just pulling away there and everyone just sorting themselves out. They'll be clearing black flags just so everyone can get into the correct order. Here we go. Here we go. We get ready to go racing it again. Caruso is on the outside. It's going to be tough. What can he do? When Barneveld... they're going to restart by the looks of things single file. That is going to help Caruso massively right now. Surely Alex just plays it safe, does not do anything adventurous, and sits behind Barneveld, blocking off any either Talvar or Bonga to preventing that those two BS cars getting to the front and pushing their way to victory.
Crazy thing is we've lost some race time here as well, haven't we? Because of oh no, it'll reset when they hit the line, won't they?
Yes.
Yes. That's what I was like. Ah, what?
Yeah, because it's going. Yeah, open time now.
Okay.
Here we go. So we're green, and we are going racing, hopefully for the final time this evening. And look, Talvar squeezing downside. Could Caruso hold him off? He's on the outside. He needs to try and hold him for dear life all the way right around the outside, because that'll give him the inside into the outside. Sure shoot. Oh, he's gone again. And he's gone again. His PC's fallen over again. And
okay,
well,
I mean, there's a time when you got to just call it and just go, like the PC, yeah,
it's yeah, clearly suffering from a bit of few issues during transit or something like that. So unfortunate for Jordan. Well, we'll try and work out in the background what exactly how we're going to plan this one out. But what we'll do is, let's just head to a quick advert. I'll see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere, and we'll definitely be speaking to the drivers at some stage, but we may come back for more racing. We'll let you know. See you on the other side.
That's a little adventurous going down the outside. Yeah, you gotta get that. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move right up. Yeah, I mean, those guys were going out and the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're gonna get a replay of it. Yeah, darted right to the inside as we get a replay here, coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.
Are you struggling to keep up with the top drivers? Are you ready to get faster and more consistent? If so, it doesn't have to take as long as you might think. With the VRS competitive subscription, you'll have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything you need to analyze your driving and see exactly where you're losing time. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off your lap times. When it comes to your equipment holding you back, the powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the best drivers in the world, including Jordan Caruso, Tim Ryan, Jordi Lopez, and Oscar Piastri. It's no secret that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also the best value for money. So if you're looking to upgrade your wheelbase to direct drive and want highly adjustable, ultra-realistic pedals, VRS is your answer. You can get better, faster, and more consistent in less time and for less money. You owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. Just go to the URL or the button below and learn why the best use VRS.
That's a little adventurous going on the outside. Yeah, you gotta get that position. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move right up. Yeah, I mean, those guys were going out, and the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're gonna get a replay of it. Yeah, darted right to the inside as we get a replay here, coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.
Hello and welcome back. Well, you can see that we're in the studios now. Jordan,
terrible.
I don't think all the beer in America can solve that guy.
So this is what we know. So they're not going to put another server up at the moment. They want to fix the PC. They've got plenty of time over there, sort of stateside, to get this final race run and figure out who the winner is going to be. But I think they obviously understand that, over here in the UK and things like that, we can't keep this broadcast going for hours, just filling and plug-in and things like that at the moment. So they're essentially letting us go, and I think they're going to complete the race once they're convinced they've got the PC tested and it's going to be nice and stable for Jordan to be able to race. So whether that's a full 15-minute race, I don't know, or they're going to do a little 5-minute shootout again. We won't know at this point. But if you keep your eye on the Virtual Racing School social media, they are going to basically just update everybody on there to let them know. And I'm sure, obviously, BS will make sure that they do some posts on there. Jordan will do some posts, and Altus and things like that. So that's kind of the situation as it is at the moment. So yeah, gutted. Like I say, well, I think we lost him 4 or 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
Many servers trying to get it on, and we got one more race in. I thought we were okay, but then right at the end. So yeah, whatever the problem is, it's they want to be able to fix it properly before sending him back out again. So see some replays going on in the background as well. But yeah, so we're not going to be able to call who's going to win the competition tonight on the broadcast, which is a bit of a shame.
It is a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. Need to obviously end it properly. As much as yes, it would be nice to call it, but because of the short sprint races and the tactics around Daytona, really,
they're there, aren't they? They're in Daytona. They've all been flown out. Like, you can't just pull someone out.
Like I said, they've got time on their side. It's only 5 hours behind UK. I've lost track what time it is. I'm looking at my watch that I don't have on, so I can't tell you what time it is, but you'll know at home, sat in front of your PCs or on your phones or on your TVs, but obviously plenty of time on their side. Positives though, we've had some epic racing tonight.
I mean, it's been, yeah, I was about to say, there's been some fantastic moves, some great racing at the end there. Obviously, you know, people running out of fuel and all sorts. I mean, the whole night's had a bit of everything with all that.
Yes.
So the highs, the lows, everything. It's been good. So.
Coming into this, we were a bit worried that this would be a whitewash for BS. That they get to just lock out the front three positions, even drive 3 abreast down the start-finish straight, anything, just to keep Jordan right at the back. But that fighting Aussie spirit,
So he's give it everything.
Yeah,
it's been great. Like I say, I mean, I wouldn't like to call it where it's going to go with those last few laps. I mean, we have left it in a position where every one of those drivers could win it.
Which is half the frustration, because you just want to know, could Jordan? I mean, that point where obviously his PC last fell over, Breitenfeld was leading by half a second. 7 tenths behind Caruso was Telvar, with Bonga just behind Telvar, but those two had just made contact with one another. Were they carrying damage? Was it enough to affect them?
Yeah.
Could they have caught up?
I think we would have just had
It's a
one
cliffhanger.
hell of a last lap shootout.
Oh, we would have done.
Such a shame. So, well, like I say, hopefully I know they've got a photographer on site and things like that, and a videographer as well. So hopefully they record that. Hopefully we see their reactions when they do have the final and things like that. You know, congratulations to all the finalists. You know, they did amazing through the whole series.
Yep.
Deserved to be there at the final. And I think no matter what, whoever wins is going to be a deserved winner, because they've all done some great racing and some great moves and things like that. Yeah, like I say, just more gutted not to be able to call it.
Oh, definitely. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a lot more prolonged than we envisaged, but hey, that's the magic of live TV. We have some epic racing across the 3 qualifying rounds, and tonight, although we can't finish off, you know it's going to be a belter. I've been Tim Cox with Alex Simpson. Thanks very much for joining us for the 2023 Pro Sim Racing Sprint Championship Series from Daytona. So good night.
Said, that's a little adventurous going on the outside. Yeah, he's got to get that position. Probably gonna lose another one. Yeah. That was a very brave move.
Well, that move, right up. Yeah, I mean, those guys were going out, and the blocking that was going up there from first place there. We're gonna get a replay of it. Yeah, darting right to the inside as we get a replay here, coming through turn 9, and he throws the block on him.